consumed. Adrenaline rush, heartbeats race, the thrill of speed taking place. Defend the lead, it's not a chase. Gran Turismo sets the pace. Under moonlit skies we soar. Every pass makes spirits roar. Defending honor, never bored.
Welcome to the Nighthawk Racing F1 RST Championship. Firstly, I'm Sarah Hawkey, and you can find myself and the rest of our community here on the Nighthawk Racing YouTube channel. There are various features and playlists for you to watch and enjoy, covering non-championship events, mini-series racing, and our main series of F1 RST with seasons 1 through to 4 with full coverage and commentary available to watch. All races also feature great competitive action alongside community and team racing, leaving many smiles as well as thrills and spills. Please also check out our Instagram and TikTok in the description below, or you can use the QR code across the video that will provide you with the link tree, more content and information for you to have a scan through as well. Before we get into the racing itself, here is an outline of the racing and the championship and what to expect in Season 5. So as you can see on screen at the moment, we have a 10 event calendar featuring red and blue lobby racing, and you can see that we go to many different tracks across the season, all tracks presenting themselves with unique characteristics, so it should be a pretty fun season ahead, and I can't wait to see how all the drivers get on. We're talking about the events itself. There are 2 races per event, with a sprint race which will last approximately 20 minutes and then a feature race at 1 hour to 65 minutes respectively. The grid for the sprint race is ordered in reverse average points scored across the season. Up next is the main feature race, which is supported by a 10-minute qualifying session. Qualifying itself is highly important, as not only does it set the outright grid for the feature race, but competitors have to begin their strategic calls in qualifying, as when the driver sets their fastest lap, the compound of tyre they use for that fastest lap then becomes their mandatory tyre compound for the start of the feature race. So as you can see, strategy is important, especially during qualifying. But here in F1 RST, every session is important and also comes with its own rewards. Both racing events come with increasing points for each position gained, as well as the potential of fastest lap points to be earned for those finishing within the top 10. Qualifying itself also rewards the top 3 positions with a little extra dynamic thought and strategy throughout the event and season. So as you can tell, points make prizes. As a reminder for all, sprint races have completely open strategy calls and tyre choices with a rolling start. But the feature race, on top of the qualifying start tyre compound requirement, has a grid start, and all drivers must use 2 different choices of tyre compounds. Right, so today is the final round of F1 RST Season 5, and what better track to round off than by us going to Interlagos. And the track itself is 2.678 miles or 4.3 kilometers long. It has 15 turns in total, and it's also known as Autodromo de Interlagos, and it's a real-world Brazilian racetrack that first appeared in GT Sport. It's the home of the Brazilian Grand Prix as well, and I'm sure we all know and love that Grand Prix. But the Senna S is a downhill S-bend named after the local Brazilian hero Ayrton Senna. Interlagos is a challenging counterclockwise Brazilian track known for its elevation changes, high-speed uphill S's, tight infield and challenging first corner that plunges downhill, demanding both stability and nimble handling for its 15 turns. It's located in Sao Paulo, and it's one of the higher altitude circuits on the F1 calendar. We could probably talk about Interlagos all day with the many track facts and the F1 history that this track has. Tell us in the comments what your favourite thing about Interlagos is. While you do that, let's go and see how the drivers are getting on for the final round of F1 RST Season 5. The day has finally arrived, the final round of Season 5 at Interlagos round 10, and we're going to start off by showing you the sprint race grid for the blue lobby. In pole position for the final sprint race, the blue one, is Super Simon in the BMW M6. We then have Haslett in P2 in the Porsche 911, followed by Murph in P3 in the Supra. He's then followed by Cypher in that Lamborghini in P4. P5 we have Lyle in the Ferrari 458, and then in P6 we have Sparky in the McLaren 650S.
And then in P7 we have Druid in that Lexus. Then in P8 we have T50 Gary in that GTR, swiftly followed up by his mate in P9, T50 Phil in the other Ferrari 458. Then in P10 on the 5th row we have Sarah Hawkey in that Huracan. Then in P11, returning Lee, ULM Lee, returning to our grid. Happy to see him in, of course, the 911. Then, also returning, we have Yvonne in the Renault RS1. So 2 drivers returning, great to see them. Definitely going to shake up this race. But here we are, sprint race, final one of the season. So Interlagos, Brazil, one we all know and love. At least most of us do. It's going to be entertaining, it's going to be fun. Let's see if they can all end the season with a bang. So, I'm going to ask you the obvious question. Who are you watching in this one?
Oh, I'm going to say Haslett or Cypher, maybe potentially Lyle as well. Starting quite high up in the sprint race will put him in a good position, especially here at Interlagos, because if you can get away good, and obviously going through the downhill chicane section to start with, it will be crucial that they get away nice and cleanly to hopefully aid them to maybe potentially get a podium here. But I think everyone towards the back end of the grid, they definitely got a shot as well. Interlagos obviously presents some unique challenges, some elevation changes, some tight twisty corners, and I think obviously drivers will be eager to hit the track. A lot of obviously people are Formula 1 fans. This is a Formula 1 track, so people should know it quite well. So I'm excited to see how everyone gets on.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. And quite frankly, I'm very eager to get into this race. Let's not delay, let's head straight over there and hand it over to our commentators and let them enjoy the penultimate. It's not penultimate. Let's head straight over there and let them enjoy the finale event. This one's the sprint race, followed by the feature. Let's go and enjoy them.
So here we are, the season finale of Nighthawk Racing's Blue Lobby, round 10 at Interlagos. Simon leads the way ahead of Saber Venom and Murph. As we get the green flag, we're racing away at Interlagos. So far, nice and clean start for everybody. No major moves to be spoken of as we enter the Senna S for the first time today. Oh, Sparky with a big hit on Lyle. Around goes the number 3 Ferrari, and it gets collected and through it. And it's a major catastrophe immediately in the Senna S. Oh dear, now, that's not what anyone was wanting to have happen here. This was always going to be a fear. And it looks like already we have a battle for the lead. Simon to the outside of Saber Venom. Haslett takes the lead from the BMW. The 51 has the lead. A lot of kerfuffling in the midfield as well going on. As Sarah makes up a position on Sarah, and Lee making his first start this season. While down in, I believe that is 11th, with Phil and Druid side by side for 5th place as we head towards turn 8. Simon's got himself a half-second track limits penalty for him going wide earlier. Decida Del Lago. Otherwise, Pedro, has anything caught your eye just yet?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, unfortunate what happened to Lyle. But it seems like he's recovering now that he's also lost that damage, obviously with the damage being temporary. Seems like he's going to make up a few positions, including on Sparky. Yeah, the pack seems to be all pretty bunched up so far. But yeah, let's see what actually, Haslett and Murph have seemed to have created quite a distance to the cars behind.
Yeah, that's absolutely what those two want at this stage of the race. And it's as you said, a ginormous pack, third on back. Druid looking very hungry behind that number 4 Lamborghini. And he's got Phil for company alongside Lee. I'm kind of impressed with Lee. He's shaking off the rust already. He's already up to 6th. And he's shaping himself up to be fighting for a top 5 here.
Yeah, very impressive start to the race from him. Seems like he might be able to hang on around the outside, unless Tara has something to say about it. Wait a minute.
Still door to door, still side by side, a little bit of door banging. Nothing wrong with that. Lee holds the position. And look at this, Drew loses a spot to
Up
Phil.
ahead.
Phil tries making one on Cypher. It's a double overtake for the number 44 Ferrari. Lee tries the outside of Druid for that
Around
top
the
5
outside.
spot. A big move by Lee. He moves up to 5th place. Now he's looking at the inside of Cypher for 4th place. There's a 3 wide behind him.
Wow.
And then round goes Sarah.
No, Sarah.
And there goes goes Gary lagging by. We apologize for Gary's lag today. But that was hilarious. But such a disappointment for Sarah there. She was well into that battle. And now she's going to have to reset herself and claw her way back up these last 10 laps.
Yeah, such an unfortunate moment for Sarah as well. She was doing very well, hanging on with Lee for quite a while, and yeah, just these moments unfortunately can really cost you the race, especially in a short one like the sprint we're having. But hopefully she'll still be able to make up a few places. Nothing is lost yet.
And right now, that big pack, third on back is still a big pack. Lee's been challenging Phil for third. Oh, there goes Druid around. Oh, and that's an unusual one because you don't see that too often. Them wrecking into the straight line, heading into Desida del Lago.
Yeah, they were side by side fighting. I think Cypher probably misjudged the amount of space he was giving Druid there, and unfortunately, with all that contact, they both went round.
And I was just about to remark that Lyle's already moved himself up to P5 after that very early Senna S accident on lap 1. He's getting close already to the back of Lee, who's, as I was trying to say, has been challenging Phil for 3rd place. Someone else that I want to shout out real quick is UST Yvonne, running in 8th at the minute. This is her first race this season, driving the Renault RSL1 with the Benetton-inspired livery. And she's doing what she needs to do, just keeping everything straight, keeping it calm and collected.
Yeah, that's what she usually does best, and I must say it's really good to see both her and Lee coming back and taking part in this season, or the season finale. Yeah, just both really great, 2 great drivers that are always great to watch out on track. And yeah, as you said perfectly, I think Yvonne is just doing what she needs to do, really, just to avoid any any incidents and just keeping it clean, and it's paying off so far. She has made up a few positions.
I will say right now, up front, Haslett's made himself up a gap versus Murph. That Porsche obviously seemed very much more in tune with the auto... What is it? Oh, crap. I can't even remember the full name of the track. Interlagos. I am going to butcher that for the sprint, and I'll only remember it for the feature. Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache. There we go. That's the one.
Yes. In honor of the Grand Prix winner in Brazil in 1975, and the hometown driver.
Yeah, he means a great deal to the area, to the track of Interlagos, and I want to say the man's actually buried here in the infield now. But forget what I'm saying right now, because Phil's lining up a move on Murph into the Senna S, for 2nd place. The Ferrari gets ahead of the Supra, nice and easy.
Yeah, very committed move up the inside, just having that little bit of extra camber and just the run on the inside line actually managed to help him there with the move. Should help him if he's, well, as you can see, Phil is clearly the fastest driver track, and I think he might be eyeing up Haslett soon. He's just about 2 to 3 seconds behind him at the moment.
Look at this. Lee's now trying his luck on Murph. He's sizing up that Supra himself, diving. Ooh, the hole closed before he can even get to it. But he's right on the diffuser of that number 11 Supra. Going through the very windy second sector, heading into Pico de Pato. He nudged him. He didn't force him off track though, but that is another position lost for Murph. And he's got Lyle for company now for 4th place. Lyle to the outside through Yunsao. Murph has a much worse run than Lyle did. Here comes the Ferrari to the inside Supra. And that's going to be a very easy move for Lyle as he takes P4 from Murph. Absolutely disastrous lap 5 there for the number 11 Supra driver.
Yeah, I think he's just got really caught off guard after Phil made a move on him, and yeah, then Lee made up his opportunity. Lyle really did force him to take a more defensive line into Junção, and that corner is just crucial for the rest of the remainder of the lap and onto the main straight. So with Lyle getting a better exit, it was always a matter of time until he made up the move on Murph, but he's still holding on to P5, still not bad.
I will bring up, we do have what seems to be a retirement. It is T50 Gary in the number 17 GTR. He is in the pit lane. I think he's trying to rework some things in that car before the feature race later. Obviously, this is going to be a big setback, though, for that 17 crew. Ooh, Murph, really deep on the brakes there. Gotta be careful with that. You can't afford that many mistakes around here at Interlagos. Despite the place being covered in grass, going off into that usually means a lot more trouble than you'd think it would mean.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, though, a little further behind, we might have a battle of the Lamborghini between Cypher and Sarah.
Yep, Cypher has his mirrors full of a number 9 Lamborghini. Sarah didn't quite have a good run through there, so she'll have to regroup a little bit to get that position back. And I missed Yvonne making the overtake on Cypher. She was running behind him when I mentioned her a few laps ago. So, once again, a nice race for that RS1 driver, and it's going to be something to watch between the two Lamborghinis. Always usually is, because I don't know about you, Pedro, whenever you're racing Giles with the Red Lobby, you always want to be the better Lamborghini driver. You always want to be the best driver from your make in a lobby.
Yeah, I guess subconsciously in the ways, it's always there, I guess. I mean, in my case, I always want to try and do my best around the that specific race, but if it's also added the fact that I finish in the best position within my manufacturer, that's even better.
Oh, we got bound for the lead. It's Phil and Sabervet. I'm sorry to butt in there, Pedro. And Phil has taken over the lead of the race with a nice clean move. And the number 44 Ferrari, as you mentioned, the fastest man on track, now leads this race.
Yeah, I was having a look. Haslett did leave the door open on the previous corner. I think it was Pico de Pato, yes. And he just ran a little bit wide on the exit, lost control of the back end, and Phil was just ready to take on the opportunity.
If there's one place this Ferrari seems happiest, it's around here. This is definitely one of those tracks that definitely suits the way the Ferrari drives. Looking through the field again, looks like Cypher trying to get closer to that 147 Renault. Oh, he got real close there through the center S there. But I think he did not get a good enough exit, and now the battle for 8th resumes between the two Lamborghinis. It's Cypher and Sarah. Going down the second straightaway. Down the inside goes Sarah. Cypher outbrakes himself, and he goes wide. Oh, and he's got himself around. Oh, he did not need that, and he's hit the invisible wall on the inside of the track, and now he's got himself some damage for good measure.
Too unfortunate there for Cypher. I think he made a similar mistake a few laps ago. Didn't end up hitting the wall though. He did manage to recover a bit better, but yeah, I think this one is ideal. Oh, I think he hit the wall again.
Oh. And
Yeah,
meanwhile,
unfortunate Sarah forcing him into the mistake. And she's right on the back of Yvonne.
yep. So she's not done yet this lap. As the leader comes across the line to take 4 to go. That number 9 Lamborghini with such a run on the Renault, but not enough room to make anything work. She ends up giving the RS01 a bump draft, and that lets Yvonne get away for at least a little bit. Now, how much time is it going to take for that GTR engine to pull away from that Lamborghini? I don't think it's going to have that much of the advantage as we head towards the Senna S once again. Yvonne taking the defensive line into the Senna S. The key for Sarah is to build the momentum, conserve it, and keep it going. Through Curva del Sol. We'll see here. Looks pretty even between these two. Sarah now starting to climb, heading into Tecido del Lago. Down the inside goes Sarah with the purple Sector 1, and she makes the move stick.
Once again, at the Shadow of the Lago, great move from Sarah, taking up the space on the inside, having to force Yvonne to defend by going a bit wider. It's always good to see them both on track, fighting for position. Oh, Druid! That would have
Big
been
set
ambitious,
by the number
and I
66
think...
Lexus. That's once 4.7 says,
Ooh.
nope, I'm not having any of that. Gives him a little bit of a door brush, and sends him behind once again.
Wow, good defending there from Yvonne. Druid with a very ambitious move. It would have been a great one if he managed to hang it around the outside of Pinheirinho, but it was always going to be a bit difficult.
And now that Lexus has room to stretch its legs here. Needs to tuck up behind that Renault and run down the pit straight. Yvonne taking the defensive measure once again. Down to the inside, to the outside. Senna S approaches. Here comes Drew to the inside. He's thinking, he's trying to get his nose in. Fakes Yvonne out and gets the position. And while all that's happening, Lyle has taken P4. Sparky P5. Murph, I think, has been struggling with his front tires again. And Lyle's right on the back of Lee. So we're going to see here whether or not Lyle's going to be able to make something happen here. Lyle's front tires are in much better shape than Lee's, but the rear tires are in worse shape on that number 3 Ferrari. And around Interlagos, you kind of need those rear tires.
Yeah, it's a bit of a characteristic of a 458. It seems like no matter the track, it's always a bit heavier on the rears. Oh, sorry, what did you see?
Cypher's gone around again. He's had a moment, and oh, there goes Lee! Lee and Lyle have a collision.
No!
Lyle's waiting for Lee, and that gives Sparky 3rd place. Just as I was thinking, I was going to mention about Cypher going around in Tecido del Lago. I think Lyle got a little too ambitious on Lee. They made contact and it sent the number 80 Porsche into a spin. So Lyle now resumes 4th, Lee in 5th. Oh, he's gone into the wall again! He's crashed hard into the pit lane!
What is happening?
Oh.
I think there must have been some sort of a steering
might be wrong
failure.
with that car. There's a mechanical failure. Yeah, it was kind of stuck.
Definitely.
Kind of 1/3 over to the left there. That was really weird. But anyway, while that's happened, Sarah, I don't know how she's done it. She's copped herself. Excuse me. She's copped herself a 3-second penalty.
I figured out why, because she was right behind Murph, and under yellow flag conditions, Murph broke midway through Mergulho, which is the downhill left-hander, which made Sarah overtaken, and in consequence, she picked up that 3-second penalty.
Oh no! That is a tough break for Sarah, who is running in 5th before the end of this lap. So she'll have to serve that. That'll let Druid into 5th, probably Murph into 6th, and possibly Yvonne up to 7th. We'll see here how this stacks up. The leader's taking the white flag. That's Phil. He's taking the last lap. So we'll see Sarah serving her penalty. There goes Druid. There goes Murph. And I think we're going to see Sarah get passed by Yvonne here before she gets to the start-finish line. And there it is. So Sarah drops down to 8th as a result of that. That is a hard breaker.
Absolutely. I think she's been so unlucky this race, and this result really doesn't reflect how well she did throughout this race. Her pace was absolutely phenomenal. She made some pretty good moves, and yeah, just to pick up that penalty in that way is so harsh.
She's recovered 7th place. I think Vaughn might have had a moment in the Senate S. And it's kind of been a theme for Sarah in some races, but that her and that Lamborghini have proven to be an absolutely brilliant duo. And if she decides to continue with the Lamborghini next season, I would not be surprised if she has more good races like she has this season. But as I mentioned that, Phil, well, he's done it again. He's had a brilliant sprint race. He'll be coming across the final kink right now. The checkered flag in the final blue sprint race of the year goes to Phil. He wins at Interlagos. 2nd place will be Saber Venom in the 51 Porsche. Not bad work out of him. And Sparky, I don't know where he came from, comes home P3. Lyle in the number 3 Ferrari will finish 4th. And Chaos Druid will come home 5th. But there's a battle for 6th brew between Murph and Sarah. Murph holds the inside. Sarah to the out. I think Murph's got this one, and he does.
So
6th and 7th, Murph and Sarah respectively. Yvonne comes home 8th. Simon, I think, will be coming across the line in P9. What might be his best sprint result of the season. And that number 69 BMW. Ahead of DJ and Cypher in the number 4 Lamborghini. Man, what... Can't say how much of a disappointment this race was for the 4. He had a good pace today, but unfortunately just nothing went his way.
Yeah, just those 2 moments at the Sheila de Lag really sort of defined his race, unfortunately.
And P11 DNF'd after completing 3 laps, I think 4 actually, is the number 17 of T50, Gary. Well, Interlagos never seems to disappoint us with action, and it certainly brought some more again today, Pedro.
Definitely. I mean, it's been such an eventful race, this one, and yeah, so many great moments we can take from here. I think it should be a good way to introduce ourselves onto the track for this season, but it is the final race of the season. Hopefully we'll have many more great moments in the feature. I'm sure many drivers will like to take the opportunity of the sprint to gather some information for the feature, regroup, and probably try to do even better, take a step further, and get some good results. I must say, I'm super impressed with Phil. He's shown tremendous pace in this sprint. And let's not forget, he started this race in P9 and ended up winning with quite a good gap to Haslett as well, which does show quite a lot of promise for the feature. I'm also going to pay lots of attention to Lee, which unfortunately had to retire due to that wheel issue, but it seemed like he was on a pretty good pace. And both Lamborghinis of Sarah and Cypher, I think they weren't really able to unlock everything that they could in terms of a result for the sprint because of those moments, unfortunately. Yeah, it should be pretty exciting. Although, I think we might have to go to the steward's room because they took a few notes here of some incidents. They've actually awarded some drivers with a few penalties. One of which is one of our podium finishers, Sparky, who picked up a 10-second time penalty. That puts him out of the podium, as we've said now, which means that Lyle will move up a position, I think, as a consequence.
Yes, Lyle
we
does
also
move
have
up to P3.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was
So
just saying,
Lyle
Lyle does move up to P3 as a result.
does inherit that podium. Also, a 2-second penalty for Druid, and a total of 7 seconds of penalty for Cypher, for 2 separate instances. Well, that's changed the results a little bit, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Do you have the final standings?
Ironically enough, the driver that Sparky lost a position to was the one he got into the incident with on lap 1 in the Senna S. It was Lyle. So, a little bit of a kick in the teeth there for Sparky, but with the amount of pace he showed today, I think this will be a good... I think he should be alright for the feature race. As will Lyle and Druid. He looked pretty racy as well in that Lexus. A little surprising given
I agree.
how much of a tank that car can be around here. As you said, very unfortunate for Lee. He was looking really good until he had the wheel issue. But I will say about Phil, this season's not been his luckiest. He's been snake bitten quite a bit this season.
I agree.
To end it on a high, that's definitely something he wanted to do before he steps out of that 458 for good. But now, I hear drivers see your cars for the sprint lap, for the red sprint. So, I'll see you back here in about 20-25 minutes.
Yeah, just want to say, just before I go, obviously a big shout out to Lyle for recovering from that incident with Sparky and getting that podium. Should fill him with hope because he was looking very good this race as well. I'll be keeping an eye on him. And yeah, without any further ado, let's have a look at what the red lobby drivers are doing.
And here we are for the final round for the red lobby sprint race up first, followed by the feature race. So, Sisley will be taking pole position in this rolling start, heading off down into turn 1 here at Interlagos, who will be followed by our very own Ziggy in that 4C. He'll be looking for a explosive end to this season and hopefully coming away with a podium at very least. Good luck to him out there. Then the head of Sutu Racing in P3, Coach in that wonderfully liveried Supra. Then in P4, Nigel Mansnell having a great season, will want to cap it off with a great end, P4 for him. Then P5, our very own Big Crazy Purdy in that McLaren 650S. Then in P6, Sophie, with a different car for this one as a bit of a wedding present to her, in the RS01.
And then in P7 we have Pedro in the Lamborghini Huracan. In P8 we then have Mercedes in the GTR, and I hear a rumour that he might pick a different car next season, but we'll know soon. In P9 we have Midnight in the McLaren 650S. In P10 we have Fodder in the Porsche 911. P11 is KD the Kai in that Nissan GTR trying to seal the championship up, and then in P12 we have Charlie in the BMW M6.
Well, Sarah, that's a heck of a grid for the finale of the race. As we know, Kai has officially taken mathematically the championship. He's going to want to seal out the season with a victory, be it sprint or feature, and I think no one will stop him. Well, we will be trying. That's what we can say there. But that is a heck of a grid here for Interlagos. It's a track that many adore, from F1 all the way through to many other different types of formula, and it works brilliantly around here, and it's going to, I think, provide us with some great racing.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I think obviously some of the drivers will want to kind of seal off the championships, and they're in a few battles between themselves, so they'll be eager to try and outscore their competitors. But like you say, obviously it's a well-known track, Interlagos, so I think the drivers, they either love it or they hate it, but hopefully most of them love it and will be eager to have a good race round here, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly that. But let's get this final event underway for Red Lobby and hand over to the commentators.
Right, so you join us here for the last sprint race of the season here in Red Lobby at Interlagos, and we've got Sidley in pole in that Lexus, closely followed by Ziggy, who I believe it's his first visit to the Red Lobby, in P2, and then Coach in P3. Sidley just about to cross the line, and Ziggy in that 4C, C4 as he likes to call it, already on the chase, trying to catch Sidley, while the rest of the pack looks like they've already bunched up into turn 1. Pedro going on the inside, then the outside of Sophie here. All the two come together. Pedro gets yeeted out wide, and he's trying to rejoin the track, going over the grass a little bit here. But Louis, have you spotted anything?
Yeah, just that incident with Pedro there. I think if he might have missed his braking slightly into turn 1, and it just nudged Sophie a little bit wide, which gave her the narrow angle into turn 2, and they just side-to-side contact, and Pedro's gone off there, but I'm sure he'll catch back up. And there was a bit of chaos there in turn 4. We've got 5 cars all together here, pushing and shoving, trying to all get themselves in position on track. They're all sorting themselves out. But yeah, interesting start.
Yeah, wouldn't have it any other way here at Nighthawk. But like you said, those 5 cars, which I think was Mercedes, Fodder, Midnight, Sophie and Kai, all fighting side by side in these last couple of corners. Sophie unfortunately has picked herself up a half-second penalty, but this pack is really close to each other. Obviously, this final couple of races is going to be crucial for Midnight and Fodder, deciding that P2 in the championship. So they're going to be battling it out hard. As we see Bertie going for a move and a half there, diving up the inside of Nigel and Coach. Unfortunately, on this turn, not going in his favour, and he loses those 2 positions. But Ziggy has managed to get himself into P1, Louis.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, didn't quite see the move, but yeah, he's got himself into P1, and he'll be seeing if he can stretch that 4C's little legs and see if he can pull himself a gap and break that slipstream from Sicily behind him. And yeah, great for Ziggy in his Red Lobby debut to be leading the sprint race.
Yeah, obviously on to lap number 2. But if he can carry on, hopefully, maybe, potentially a win might be on the cards for Ziggy here. But he's got some drivers behind him that won't want to give up just yet, like Sidley and Coach. And Nigel is attached to that bumper of the Supra. Manages to brake just in time not to come into contact with Coach. But those two are battling it out in this section here. Nigel going up the inside, although Coach has now got the inside for the next corner. Side by side, Coach managing to brake a little bit later. Nigel trying to get the switch back, but Coach sets that Supra up nicely. Although Nigel diving into the inside here, or a little tap to the rear of Sidley's car, uncertain it a little bit, and that looks like it's pushed Nigel out a bit wide.
Yeah, this is just giving Ziggy a chance to get away here with that little sort of mistake there from Nigel has cost Italy some time there, and it's given Ziggy, broken the slipstream, a chance to run away now.
Yeah, that gap looks very nice for Ziggy there, although I think he'll be feeling the pressure still. He'll be looking in his rearview mirror, but he's got a little bit of breathing room as these 3 are currently battling. Coach has managed to get himself in front of Sicily and Nigel, although Nigel's still in that slipstream of the Supra, going on to lap number 3 now. So we've got Coach in P2 now, with Nigel very close behind in P3, and Nigel getting in the slipstream of that Supra out in front, with Sicily looking in P4 to make up those moves again, getting himself back into P2. As we look behind, Fodder looking for a move on Bertie here, and the rest of the pack has bunched up into turn 1, Louis.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Bertie closing the door on Fodder there. It's all kicking off. Everyone's getting side by side, and you know, we haven't had that sort of settle down period yet, where we usually get it after 2 or 3 laps where people have settled in their position. But it's just constant action. Last race of the season, everybody wants to move up positions, and it's all just going off everywhere you look.
Yeah, everyone wanting to pick up those valuable points. Obviously, could settle some championship positions. Talking about championship positions, Mercedes getting the elbows out with Fodder there. That looked a bit dicey. But Katie Dekai making some moves as well on Midnight. I believe from the last round we did crown KD the champion. He's uncatchable points wise, but on track I'm sure some of the drivers will want to beat him for the last race of the season. But he's in that P9 position at the moment with Midnight and Fodder, I believe, fighting out for P2 in the championship at the moment.
Yeah, and we've got Pedro back in the fight now as well after that lap 1 turn 2 excursion going off. He's just passed Kai up into P10, so he's making some moves, trying to get back up with the pack now, so that's good to see.
Yeah, hopefully we won't see a repeat of Pedro and Sophie into this lap, although Sophie has just burnt her half-second penalty, so that drops her a little bit further back. But just having a look, Charlie, I don't know if he had a good start to the race. He's in P12 and he's not been able to make any moves up just yet, but maybe he's just trying to bide his time in that BMW, maybe heat up those tyres a little bit. Or as we see...
Yeah, I'll be watching closely. Oh yeah, Bert in Sicily here going side by side.
Fodder going from one side to the other, trying to catch the drivers out in front of him out a little bit, but Bertie on that apex make sure that the cars behind him can't get through. But Fodder very cleverly manages to get past Italy and Mercedes, and Midnight having a cheeky move up the inside gets past both of them.
Yes, very opportunistic there from Midnight, just let it all play out in front of him and just put his car in the right place, got the better run out the corner and picked up himself 2 positions there. He'll be happy with that. See Kai going off in the background. He's also got a 1-second penalty.
He's not making it easy on himself to climb up the grid here with those penalties, and it looks like Charlie has joined the back of the grid now, so this could see KD the Kai drop all the way to the back of the grid. I know that's where he started, but he's making that challenge a little bit harder for him. But Ziggy at the moment, he's got about I'd say a corner or so lead at the moment, so he's definitely got some breathing room. I'm sure he's enjoying this at the moment.
Absolutely, yeah, he'll be loving it, sort of looking in the room here and not really able to see anyone, so he just needs to keep his composure and keep the pace up that he's doing, and who knows, instead of sort of 4 laps in, he'll be absolutely loving his debut in Red Lobby.
Yeah, and as we see, Midnight late on the brakes, trying to catch Fodder out, and he's got Nigel to keep him company going through this turn 1, turn 2 section. As it looks like the Nigel in the Ferrari and the McLaren came together a little bit there, which unsettled Midnight's car, as Mercedes also gets the elbows out, trying to get past Midnight here. Mercedes on the inside line wants to get past Nigel, but Nigel cuts him off at the last minute, and I'm surprised that Mercedes managed to stop that GTR in time. But Midnight trying to eye up a move again here, but Mercedes currently trying to get out of the middle of these 2 cars. It's all going on. We're still on lap 5, and like you said earlier, it's not really cooled down as yet.
No, we see Pedro also getting involved here in this little 4-car battle.
So Midnight's not having the easiest
time. Nigel's round.
I suspect that's got something to do with Mercedes, as he's waiting on track for Nigel to rejoin. Good sportsmanship. Didn't quite see the incident unfold, but good of Mercedes to wait for him.
Absolutely, yeah. Good sportsmanship there for Mercedes, and I think it was kind of inevitable after what's been going on for the first sort of 5 laps that eventually somebody was going to be made a casualty out of it. Unfortunately, it was Nigel and Mercedes getting together. So, but they'll have a little battle now going on, which is it's promoted Midnight now up to P5, and Fodder now going after Bertie and Coach.
I was going to say, I suspect Midnight would be happy. Not happy, but happy at the same time that he got a couple of free positions there, especially after that last lap. It was quite tough seeing that McLaren lose a few spaces. But like you say, Fodder on the charge now, trying to get past Bertie. Bertie as well, obviously, I think it's his second or third time in the red lobby this season, and I think he's wanted to stay. He's doing really well, and he's showing the red drivers just what he's got in that McLaren. And like we always call him, the tyre whisperer at the moment. The tyres are looking good. He's managing to get past Coach here, although Bertie going very wide. Clips a little bit of grass, and I think he went too wide there, Louis.
Yeah, just that sort of rear left just touched the grass there, and as we know, as soon as you touch a little bit of grass, you lose all the grip. So, and a 1 second penalty just to rub salt in the wounds there for Bertie, because going off track and losing time is not enough.
Yeah,
But I'm also see Bertie's also gone the alternate of go and run the soft tyre. I've noticed as well, compared to everyone else who's running mediums.
Yeah, interesting. Maybe he wanted that quick getaway, but I'm not sure if they're going to last. They might actually, in the hands of Bertie, they might last 12 laps. But anyone else, that might be a bit of a struggle, as we see Bertie drop to P6. I think he's safe in P6 at the moment. I don't think Sophie was too close to take advantage of Bertie burning that penalty. But I was just having a look at Pedro. He's managed to really work his way up the grid. He's tucked behind Midnight at the moment. But I spy a move coming on for P2 here. Fodder has managed to get himself a little bit closer to Coach. Coach seems to be struggling a little bit, and that's all helping Ziggy get away a little bit further out on track. As we see Sophie, clipping a little bit of grass, not glass. I don't want glass in the tyres. But she unsettles that car a little bit. She looked like she was going to eye up a move on Bertie, but unfortunately just couldn't get it done and dusted there. Katie Kai back into P8 after having to burn a penalty. Sitterly, after the good first couple of laps, he's dropped to P9 at the moment, with Nigel P10, Charlie P11 and Mercedes in P12 at the moment. But
Fodder and Coach have come together, and Fodder's, I don't know about that one. I think that might be one for the stewards there. It seemed quite sort of not a dive necessarily, but I'm not sure he had sort of enough space there to make that corner, and he's made contact with Coach and he's gone through into P2. But I think, yeah, that would definitely be one for the stewards to look at after the race. I think there may be a little bit of frustration coming in for Fodder trying to get past with chase down Ziggy, so see what happens.
yeah, I think that was definitely the classic of Fodder saw the door open a little bit, but he pried it open fully. So we'll see what the stewards have to say about that after the race. But at the moment, like you say, Fodder in P2, Coach in P3, and obviously that move there has enabled Midnight to get a little bit closer for this podium battle. It looks like he's going to try and force himself into the inside, trying to force Coach into braking later, and Midnight gets that move done and dusted onto the podium.
Yeah, nice move there, babe. Midnight just got it up the inside, nice and smooth, up into P3, and he'll be wanting to go after Fodder now, and say, well, then battling for P2 in the championship. He'll be keen to get on the back of that Porsche now, and we see if those two can maybe drag themselves along to potentially catch Ziggy, but he's got such a lead at the moment. It's going to be very difficult with only 4 laps to go for these guys to catch him up.
Yeah, and Ziggy is driving so well at the moment. I've not seen him make any sort of mistake, which is really good. He's just got 4 laps left with this little 4C that he needs to get it round to keep that P1. Fodder dipping a couple wheels in the grass there, but like you say, Ziggy's got such a healthy lead at the moment, and it'd be interesting to see how close Fodder can get towards the end. But Pedro has managed to make a move on Coach here. So Coach in the last couple of laps losing a few positions, although he might be coming back at Pedro here. He dives into the inside, Pedro on the outside. Coach braking just that little bit later than Pedro, but Pedro still on the outside, which will be the inside of this corner. Oh, it looks like nearly a replay of what we saw in turn 1, but Pedro thinking better of it, letting Coach back through so the two didn't come together.
Yeah, wise there from Pedro. Like I said, it's almost a role reversal from lap 1 for him, but he decided to back out of it and live to fight another day. So we've got Sophie trying to get the inside of Bertie.
Yeah, a little bit of elbows out there by Sophie, just nudging Bertie to get out of the way a little bit. And obviously Sophie in a slightly different car for the final race. You'll see why in the blue lobby. But yeah, it's good to see. Obviously, she's got a bit of a challenge on the hands, getting used to this new car within the last round of the championship. But she seems to be doing pretty well at the moment. But we have a little bit of a battle between Katie Dekai and Pedro Bruin again. Coach obviously back in that P4, trying to keep Pedro and Kai behind him, but I don't know for how long, because Pedro looks like he's going to try and get past him here. well, I was going to say before they go on the straight here, but looked like Pedro went a little bit too wide, and Katie Dekai is there to keep him honest. I thought Sophie was going to lose the car then. He was facing 90 degrees the wrong way, but she kept hold of it. And it looks like Mercedes, after that little bit of a collision with Nigel earlier, has really struggled to get that GTR going again.
Yeah, I think he's made a pit stop and put soft tyres on, so I think that's why he's dropped off so far at the back. I think that's why he's taken the fastest lap.
What a move from Katie Dekai there. He managed to get the move done on Pedro, maybe potentially catching Pedro out by surprise there. I don't think he thought Katie Dekai was going to go for that aggressive move there, but that is the driver of a championship winner. You know, you've got to make those moves stick. Although Coach braking on the exit of the corner catches Katie Dekai out by surprise, which enables Pedro to go back through. This race really hasn't had a cooling down period. Everywhere we've looked for these 10 laps, there's been something going on.
Absolutely, yeah. It's been action all over the track somewhere. There's always been a battle going on, so it's keeping us on our toes, trying to find out who to watch. And but I think the main battle here is Coach, Pedro and Kai at the moment for P4. So I think that's going to be the main battle for the last 2 laps to keep a close eye on.
Yes, it looks like Pedro on the outside line maybe can't put enough power down to get past that Supra fully, having to give a little nudge to Coach to give him a little bit of space on track. But it looks like Pedro might get that move done and dusted here. Oh, very close between the two. I'm not sure if Coach knew that Pedro was fully alongside him there. But I don't think this battle's completely done just yet. And Katie Dekai might try and force both of them into a mistake here going on to the penultimate lap.
Yeah, Pedro braking nice and late there, making the corner his and taking that P4 position.
As I say, there's a lot of paint swap between the two cars there, the Supra and the Lamborghini, between those two. But Katie Dekai is next to try and get past Coach. Pedro trying to break the slipstream, I suspect, from Coach and Katie Dekai, but not managing to do so in that section. We've got Sophie, she's managed to get past Bertie in the last lap or so. And we've got a little bit of a battle brewing between Cicely and Nigel. Cicely trying to get some well-earned points on the table.
Kai's past Coach. Coach made a little bit of a mistake there into the right-hander, and that's allowed Kai to go through. So he'll now be eyeing up a move on Pedro potentially, going on to the last lap. And Midnight is caught up to fodder a little bit as well, so that could again potentially be a little battle going into the last lap as well.
Yeah, they're always next to each other on track, those two. Sometimes a bit too close and results in them coming together. But Pedro,
good save,
using that Lamborghini. It looks like Pedro obviously having to concede that position to Katie Dekai there, but like I said, a good save for that Lamborghini. But he'll have to try and make that P4 stick again if he wants it into to turn 1 and turn 2. Katie Dekai looks like he's able to put that power down just that little bit earlier than Pedro. Pedro looked like he's drifting around this section here. Saying that, Katie Dekai going out wide as well.
The rear tyres on that Lamborghini don't look particularly happy at the moment. I think that's why he's getting a lot of sort of power oversteer coming out the corner, so could be quite a tricky little car for this last 3/4 of a lap for Pedro to maybe consolidate that P5 rather than trying to challenge Kai for a P4.
Yeah, I think it's going to be difficult, like you say, with that tyre wear that he's got at the moment. But also as well, got to give it to Katie Dekai. He put himself to the back of the grid, obviously lap 2, and managed to climb back into P4, but just joining Ziggy, he's got a few corners left to go. Do you want to stay with him while we cross the line?
Absolutely, yeah. He's just coming up to second to last corner now. Just get through here. Don't lose it on the exit. Very sensible. And I'm sure he'll be currently driving down here now, smiling from ear to ear. So luckily at his age he's managed to stay awake for the whole race, so that's an achievement for him as well. and crossing the line to take his maiden red lobby victory. That's brilliant drive from Ziggy.
Yeah, things you'd love to see. Ziggy on his red lobby debut, winning it. It's just got to show him how, he's had to show these red lobby drivers how it's done, you see. But finishing just slightly behind, we have Fodder in P2, Midnight P3, Katie Dekai after a good race in P4, Pedro with that rear tyre management in P5, Coach in P6, and then if you want to take the rest of the grid for me.
Yeah, and then we've got Sophie finishing in P7. She had an interesting race, bit up and down, a good few battles going on. Nigel, who was quite up near the front at the start, finishing in P8. Sittley finishing in P9. Bertie, whose tyres didn't quite make them to the end. They were completely shot at the end there in P10. And we've got Kai in P11, Mercedes in P11 and Charlie in P12, who both pitted and changed their tyres. So yeah, very interesting race, very interesting. There's a lot of battling going on, and yeah, great result there for Ziggy finishing in P1.
Yeah, I've got to say, obviously I'm so happy for Ziggy getting that P1 and making no mistakes from what I saw. So a good red lobby debut for him. It's interesting to see obviously Charlie and Mercedes coming into to pit. Obviously they had quite a difficult sprint race all in all, but being clever, putting a new set of rubber on, trying to chase that fastest lap time, which will reward them with a few extra points. But I believe we've got the Struden reports in, and although Fodder on the road finished P2, Midnight P3, those positions have been swapped. So you've got Midnight in P2 and Fodder in P3 after receiving a 2-second penalty, and I can only suspect that will be because of that incident with Coach.
Yes, we did think at the time that it was going to be one the stewards would look at and potentially punish. So yeah, it'll be disappointed, but you can understand why he's been given the 2-second penalty. It was one of those moves where there was a bit too much contact involved, I think, to be classed as a clean overtake. So unfortunate for Fodder, but Midnight will be happy that he's moved up a step on the podium.
Yeah, keeps that P2 championship battle a little bit alive before we go into the feature race. But obviously we'll go see what the blue lobby got up to first, and then you'll join us back here to watch what the red lobby feature race had in store for us.
Absolutely, looking forward to it.
And on to the qualifying results for Blue Lobby Season 5 Round 10. So, Lyle taking an impressive pole position. Soft tyres 1 minute 32.6 is clearly in sync with the Interlagos track, and you can see it just from taking a pole position, and he's going to be very happy with himself. But that said, T50 Phil on medium tyres 1 minute 32.9. He's going to be super happy with himself, and he set himself up for a great feature race. Just got to try and stay with the soft tyre runners to begin with. With that in mind, another soft tyre runner, P3, our very own Sarah Hawkey, 1 minute 33.4, third place. Then Haslett, great to see him back on the track, and he's going to be enjoying this feature race no matter where he finishes, I'm absolutely sure. But he's not going to be thinking about that. He's going to be thinking, I'm in P4, medium tyres, 1 minute 33.7, let's move forwards. Then P5, we have Lee on medium tyres also, 1 minute 33.7, only 19 thousandths behind Haslett. Good luck to him out there. Then we have Sparky in P6, medium tyres, 1 minute 33.8. Very close together, those top six.
And in P7 we have Druid on the mediums with a 134 flat. In P8 we have T50 Gary also on the mediums with a 134.1. In P9 we then have Cypher also on the mediums with a 134.5. In P10 we have Murph also on the mediums. I'm sensing a theme here yet again, but with sets of time of 134.2. And then rounding off the grid we have Yvonne in P11 setting her time on hard sets of tyres with a 136.4.
Interesting there, Sarah. I think we are going to see again, this whole season we have not seen the hard tyre used much for qualifying at all. To my knowledge, I think this is the second, maybe third occurrence of it. And Yvonne qualifying on the hard tyres, I think maybe you might be thinking about a one-stop there. But otherwise, it's great to see so many of these drivers so close together, and it's going to be interesting. Although we have just heard Lee will not be making the feature race, so won't be taking part, so that we're bumping up everyone from 6th downwards up a spot, which will be good for them, giving them a little bit clearer run into turn 1. But Sarah, who's your eye on for this race?
Oh, I reckon Haslett could do pretty well. Lyle as well, if he can get, off the grid quick, which we know the Ferrari and Lyle are very capable of doing. I'd say also, obviously, don't write off Druid, Gary, Sparky being on the mediums in the P5, P6, 7 and 8. And then I think it's very interesting that Yvonne, although obviously she's only back for this round, she could obviously pose a threat to some of the drivers starting on the hard tyres, like you say, potentially going for the one stop. So I definitely think that she's one to watch, and hopefully she has a good race.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And like you say, there's a few drivers in there that are looking really interesting and going to be threat to the podium at least. But I do think, put your money on, or perhaps Lyle or Phil starting P1 and 2. They're going to be trying to take this race and run off into the distance. But we have to see what happens with that tyre wear, as it always comes down to, particularly around a track like Interlagos. So, final feature race of the season for Blue Lobby. Let's leave them to it and hand over to the commentators. Good luck all the drivers on this one.
We're all lined up for the Blue Lobby feature race, the last race of the season. It's a Ferrari front row lockout. It's time to bring the action. Lyle and Phil side by side already as we head towards the center S. But I think Lyle's just got the edge so far as we move into the first turn. Phil with the bodacious move on the inside, making things work smoothly there. Otherwise, it looks like it's all clean this time in the center S. Simon rounds out the field through there. And Phil has a nice breakaway from Lyle, who now has Sarah for company for second place. Sarah to the outside of that number 3 Ferrari, heading into Destino del Lago. The 9 will have to concede the position for now. Gary has resolved his issues. He's now currently sitting P5 ahead of DJ Cypher and Chaos Druid. Haslett down in 8th had a pretty iffy start, I'd say. But overall, if you don't have any damage by this point in the race, you're doing just fine. As we see Druid with the big move on Cypher. These two were battling it out in the sprint race. They're battling it out again. This time, Druid gets it settled immediately, and Cypher has to settle for 7th. That creates a little bit of a concertina. Here comes Cypher to the inside of Druid. What a move that was!
Wow.
Oh no! I was about to say he made it work, but no, he didn't. And these two have been battling so hard this lap, it ends in the number 4 facing backwards.
Oh wow. And Sarah as well, just running off at the final corner, well, at Jonção actually. Managing to hold on, but picking up a 1 second penalty in the process. But wow, once again, contact between Cypher and Druid proving to be very costly for Cypher.
Yeah, that's not how Cypher wanted to start the feature race after his sprint. Oh, Simon's had a crash. Possibly? No, he's just spun at the entry of turn 1. No damage for him, surprisingly. That's A, an unusual place. B, an unusual place to not get damage. So, I guess good work by Simon there. As we see, Murph gets a little bit of a shove from Haslett, but it looks like he's able to keep things controlled. Oh, Sarah! Sarah just went wide. And Sparky just copped himself a half-second penalty. Sarah just copped another half-second. That corner right there, turn 7, that I cannot pronounce, that's probably the worst point on the track for track limits.
Yeah, it's just if you run a little bit too wide, and it's, I mean, you're trying to be committed there and just take a wider line, but it's always such a fine margin between you actually picking up a penalty or taking the line just right.
Ooh.
And Sarah losing out to Gary as well.
Murph doing his best Baja impression. He's lost a couple positions to Saber Venom and Ivan in the Renault. Didn't quite catch how Murph got it to being a Baja truck for a little bit, but he did, and he's now slotted into 9th.
Tell you what, I think we're gonna have just a battle for the lead at the moment, and I think Sarah might be on the back of Druid as well at Reto Aposta. She might be going for a move at the Shade of the Lago, which is a favorite place to go for a move. And I think she might take the position here. She took a much better line than she does.
We saw how good that car was to Cito del Lago in the sprint, and yeah, that was a pretty quick and easy move there by Sarah. And you are right, the two Ferraris are starting to have at it. It is important to note, Lyle's on the soft tire. One of 2 cars to start on the soft tire, the other being Sarah.
The other being Sarah, yeah.
Yep, and one car, I believe it was Ivan taking the hard tire. Everyone else is on the medium tire.
You're right. Exactly.
So Phil, he just got his work cut out for him the next couple laps to keep that number 3 Ferrari at bay. He's taking the very inside line for defense. Otherwise, though, I don't think Lyle's close enough to make a move unless he absolutely sends it on the brakes, which he does not. But Phil has a bad entry to the Senna S. That's going to be problematic for him, because you need the momentum out of the Senna S to defend on this straightaway, which he might not be able to do. He goes all the way down to the bottom of the straightaway, heading into Tecito del Lago. He's got his turn signal on to the right. He lets Lyle go. Well, I guess that's better than having a Leclerc-Vettel moment.
Yeah, I think just Phil knowing that even though he's on a harder compound than Lyle, he might still have the advantage, obviously. He's going to have an advantage later on, but the pace deficit at the moment doesn't seem to be that high. But they might as well try to force Lyle into having to burn through his tires earlier than expected, and then take that advantage onto the remainder laps of his stint.
Druid has gone by Sarah for 5th place. He's retaken the position. Something I've noticed around here with his defense style, especially this weekend in Interlagos, is that he's using a lot more of the door around here. He's kind of trying to throw the weight of that Lexus around to dissuade anyone from trying to stick around on his sides there through corners. I don't think I've really seen that in Nighthawk very much. Have you?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a unique style of defending. It seems to be working for now, although Sarah might have something to say, because she's been very close to him, really keeping the pressure on him, even throughout the entirety of the last lap. And, wait, we might have a battle for 1st place already between those 3.
Yep, Gary's been caught by Druid and Sarah. So Druid looking to the inside of that GTR, sticks his nose in there. A little bit of a rub there on the fenders. Still rubbing. Here comes Sarah to make it 3 wide. They're 3 wide. Heading towards Ferradura. They're still 3 wide. They finally make cut. There goes Druid into the grass. There goes Gary into the grass. And Sarah makes the double overtake work.
Wow, it was almost like a through goes Hamilton moment at Interlagos this time. That was awesome.
What a brilliant move by the Lamborghini. She needed to make that move though, because she needs that clean air on those soft tires to take advantage of that strategy. She couldn't get stuck behind those guys for long. And now that she's free, she can push on with that strategy. But the problem is now, those tires are looking pretty second-hand at the minute.
Yeah, I think you touched a really good point there. It's obviously crucial that Sarah now gets the clean air, and hopefully she manages to take away from the drivers behind in order to really maximize the potential on those soft tires. But you also said it looks like they're fading pretty quickly, so he's really gonna have to make a move.
Yeah, and right now the move is just run away as fast as you can. Because
Exactly.
Druid will pounce on any opportunity he sees in front of him. He's been very aggressive today. He's been very hungry, for a lack of a better term. And he's sitting
Yeah, I agree.
right now
He's
ahead of Gary. Someone else who should mention. Ooh. Before I do that, did you catch anything?
sorry, I just realized that Lyle got himself a half a second penalty, and Phil is right behind him.
Oh no, Phil's right there. Phil is right there, so Lyle's at a moment, and will now have to concede the lead once again. So the 44 Ferrari retakes the lead of the race, and Lyle will have to put the pressure back on, but much like Sarah, Lyle started on the softs, and I don't think those softs have, I think they have at most maybe 3 laps left in them before Lyle has to come in.
Yeah, I agree. It's well, especially those rear tires, as we've also mentioned in the sprint. They seem to be quite worn, and they're pretty crucial around here, especially through that middle sector as well. It's super important to have the tires in good shape for all those traction zones. And Phil is rejoicing. He's in the lead. He's just picked up the fastest lap as well, away from Lyle. And it seemed like his plan of letting Lyle through a few laps ago has paid off.
Yeah. So, it's one of the interesting things about racing versus most other sports. You have to choose when to battle somebody. And I think Phil chose right in this case, letting Lyle go for the time being, wait for the tires to fall off or a new opportunity to arise to retake the lead. We'll say, quick shout out to Sparky running in 3rd place. He's in a little bit of a no man's land right now, but running comfortably in 3rd place on medium tires. They're not the best tires compared to the other guys on mediums, but I'd say he's handling himself quite well around here. This seems to be one of his happy places.
Yeah, he's had some successful races in the past, even in other leagues and other championships. And well, we did see he still took the P3 on track in the sprint, so he definitely has the pace here. I'm curious to know how he'll do, because having a look at it, it's not like his tires are that much worse compared to some of the people around him. It might be slightly better than Phil's at the moment, for example. Druid will, well, in the Lexus, he's gonna have to battle through the front wear a bit more, although the rears still seem to be in pretty good shape. And yeah, I mean, he's still in a good position. He's got a bit of a healthy gap to Sarah at the moment of around 4 seconds, almost 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So he just keeps it clean, keeps going the way he is now, especially with Sarah having to pit in the upcoming laps. Druid is not going to have probably the slipstream from her. Should help him build a bit of a bigger gap in the meantime.
Yeah, those soft tires on the 3 and the 9, I'm sure both of them are going to be feeling it at this point, that those tires are going to be ready to go. Oh, Sarah with the big loose moment. That's not going to help those tires.
Oh, Lyle is in the pits already.
Ooh, that he is. So we have our first scheduled pit stop of the day. It's for Lyle. Sarah stays out one more.
Sarah stays out.
So I think she's going to try the overcut on the number 3 Ferrari. So, trying to find what else may be happening on the track, but it looks like everyone's kind of just gotten themselves into a rhythm right now Actually, I take that back.
Well,
I think Cypher is right. Yeah, Cypher's right on the back of Yvonne. The only driver on the hard tires for the time being. We'll see what Lyle comes out on. But between Yvonne and Sophie, there's going to be a good bit of collaboration between the two UST drivers, between the red and the blue lobbies, especially on strategy. So we'll see what happens here with those two drivers in the sprint and the in this race and the red feature. But
well, I did hear rumors in the paddock that they might be, yeah, I've heard some rumors in the paddock that they might be, Yvonne might be taking this opportunity to maybe give some info onto Sophie for the race in red lobby later on. So we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, sorry for interrupting you there.
Oh no, you're alright. I will say the hard tires are definitely going to be slow around here, but I'd say they're going to be one of the tires that are going to get the most use today. Because as you know, you do need to use two separate tire compounds. But as we saw with the softs, those aren't lasting very long. As we saw, Sarah stayed out another lap, so she'll be doing 10 laps, no more on the soft tire. And Lyle came out on the mediums.
Yeah, on a full tank of fuel as well. In the meantime, sorry, I think, yes, Cypher has made the move on Yvonne.
Yes, he has, so that's 8th place for the number 4 Lamborghini. So that is one more position for him on this comeback drive after the lap 1 shenanigan. It's with Druid. It's kind of what you got to do at this point, is just plug away laps and see how far up you can get back up there. And Druid right on the back of Sarah in this final sector. No doubt Sarah's going to be coming in this time, because I think those Firehawks are down to the canvas. But we'll see how close Druid gets to that Lamborghini. I think he knows Sarah's going to be coming in soon. Yeah, Sarah's kind of signaling to him, I'm going to be coming in, by darting low almost immediately. There she goes to the inside. Druid's going to try following her. And in goes Sarah. So Druid takes over P3. Sarah gets off of that soft tire. And we'll see where she comes out and with what tire.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see if she comes out ahead of Lyle here, as you obviously approach the possibility of her doing this overcut. I'm curious to see what strategy she's going to take on for this next stint, or what tire she's going to use for this next stint. The way that she's refueling, she might be going for the mediums.
Yeah, and I can already tell you right now, the overcut's not worked. She stayed out 1-2 laps out too many. She comes out on the medium tire, but Lyle's already beaten the pit exit. So Sarah will not be beating the 3 on this occasion, but that's not to say she won't have a little bit of a tussle with Lyle later in the race, depending on how both of their strategies turn out.
Yeah, it seems like she's about 2 corners behind him at this point. Yeah, I mean, she'll have clean air at least for this part now. So does Lyle, to be fair. And they've both shown that they have pretty good pace. So I guess we'll have to wait for what the next few laps bring us. I think the other really close battle on track at the moment, it might be between Druid and Gary.
Yeah, Gary's tires are in much better shape than Druid's. Might be a brake bias thing, might be just a general driving style thing around here, but that Lexus been very bad on its right front this race so far compared to that GTR. I also find it very interesting Druid's burned more fuel than the GTR. Now I say this as a fellow Lexus driver. I would think the fuel would be in at least a little bit better shape than that at this stage of the race. He might be using all of the revs that V8 in the front of that car can give him, and that might be why the fuel's a little more burnt up compared to the GTR. But in any case, Gary is getting closer and closer to Druid. This will be a battle to watch out for in the next few laps. Ooh, he had a very wide corner there. That's not going to help him any versus that 17 GTR. And I did mention it earlier. He did resolve whatever network issues he was having in the sprint, and he is having a much more smooth race as a result. Now we're going to see, start lap 13 for these two, what the Senna S is going to treat these guys for. I think Gary's just got a little bit better of a run through there, but not enough of an advantage to where he can mount an attack just yet. So this one's still in the works. But I will say that well, I say that Gary's a lot more aggressive into Destino del Lago, and we might be seeing the battle heat up here in the next lap or two, Pedro.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I think that Druid was also pretty strong through here for this section with Rabura and Laranjinha, but yeah, it does seem like Gary's getting closer and closer, having that extra grip on the front tires as well, helping him out through some of these corners. Just, I think in terms of rear grip, it might be roughly similar, at least in terms of tires. I think if he gets a good exit out of Junção, to be fair, Druid did get a decent exit out of it as well, but the GTR, stronger on the straight line. I don't know, I think the gap is quite even at the moment compared to what it was previously.
Yeah, it does definitely seem like it spread itself out.
Yeah, the lap times even reflected that. They were roughly just 37 milliseconds separated from one another that lap.
It's not easy to get similar lap times between two cars battling like that. But yeah, these two right now, tit for tat. And that is currently the battle for the final podium spot. Shifting my attention real quick to Lyle, up in 9th. Earned himself a half-second time penalty for track limits, I think. He's trying to bear down on the number 147 of Yvonne. Just set a 134.1 versus Sarah, whose last lap was a 34.7. So I think Lyle, for the time being, does have the edge over Sarah. But over the rest of the field, I think so as well, because I think Druid and Gary were the fastest of the cars that have yet to stop just yet.
Yeah, and Sparky in front of them as well. I think they kind of caught up to him, haven't they? I mean, roughly the gap is about 5 seconds between Sparky and Druid at the moment. Honestly, I mean, Sparky does seem to have better grip on the front, but those rears are looking a bit dire compared to Druid and Gary. I mean, we're gonna have an interesting run of pit stops coming up. I think out of all of those in the top 4, Phil might be the first one to pit, because those rears are looking very second-hand at this time.
Yeah, and I think some of these guys might have noticed between Lyle and Sarah, the undercut's very powerful around here. So it might be one of those cases where the earlier you pit, the better. So who knows? Maybe Phil knows this already. It might be coming in soon. Sparky.
Yeah, And I wouldn't be surprised if Gary tries to do the same, if he doesn't manage to overtake Druid in the meantime. With him also having the advantage of having the better fuel out of all of the drivers in the top 4 at the moment.
Yeah, Gary and that GTR has been very fuel efficient so far. That V6 proving its worth around here. Let's see, Phil stays out, at least this time by. We'll see if any of the other top 4 runners come in and decide to bite that bullet here. I think Sparky's decided to stay out.
Druid. Is he coming in? I think he is.
Yes, Druid is coming in, so he's the first of the top 4 link.
Yeah, his fronts were just weren't looking great.
Yeah, that was 15 laps worth. I'm wondering then if the softs might not be on the cards for the number 66 because of how bad the fronts were on this set of mediums after 15 laps. Murph comes in as well, also with dead front tires. That will allow Ivan to take over 6th place for these guys.
Lyle is right behind her now.
Yep, Lyle's just kind of been biding his time, kind of just running the laps. But I think him running the laps behind that run out has resulted in him losing time to the cars up front. So I'm willing to bet Lyle might try finding somewhere around that run out soon.
Yeah, because he's even missing out time. He's losing time to Sarah. I think Sarah is roughly around like 10 seconds or 11 seconds behind him at the moment. And the longer it stays behind Yvonne, the worse the situation will get. I must point out, I was just having a look at the timing tables, and is it a mistake or did he actually set 2 equal lap times back to back?
I think he did set the same lap time back to back. I know that was if he does it again, that's an achievement in Gran Turismo 6. I don't think Lyle's gonna be able to do that this time. But that is very impressive to set the same exact lap time twice in a row. You can get that over a race a few times, but twice in a row is pretty astonishing. Now Lyle gets around Yvonne to the inside, and it's looks like a 36.5 for Lyle, so that was an even worse lap time than the last 2.
Ooh, he did go a little bit deep as well, so Yvonne might have something to say at the exit of the corner. Well, it's going to be a difficult task considering how worn her tires are, but...
Yeah, I think Yvonne's tires just aren't up to that task. We do see someone has come in. It's Haslett in the number 51 Porsche. Came out on another set of mediums. He did not fuel up all the way. Yeah, and neither did Druid as well. He also went on the mediums and he didn't well, he's got about the same amount of fuel as Haslett at the moment. Still curious to know... Oh, Bill is in. Yep, I was just about to say... Curious to see which one of the other drivers in the top 3 is going to pit next. And well, I'll tell you, it's not Sparky.
And Gary stay out. Yeah,
Sparky stays out one more. Gary, I'm not surprised with him staying out. Sparky, I'm a little surprised that he stayed out. Because those right sides do not look good on that number 12 McLaren.
Yeah, they don't. Hopefully he doesn't lose too much time. That's what he'll be hoping.
He is at least in clean air, but I'll be willing to bet he'll be coming in this time. And in this cycle of pit stops, that's promoted DJ Cypher to 3rd place for the time being. So
yeah, he's still going, but he's rear.
Yeah, those rear tires do not look good, but overall, I'd say this hasn't been a bad recovery race for Cypher, given what happened earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. He's still doing a very, very respectful stint, all things considered. I mean, he could not. Do you reckon he'll try to make those tires last until? Oh, sorry, what did you see there?
Oh, I thought I saw something happening, but it was just Simon letting Gary through. You were saying?
Yeah, I think I was just going to ask if. Do you reckon that Cypher will try to make those tires last up until halfway into the race? Oh, Sparky is in now.
Yes, Sparky is in. I figured he was going to be coming in. Gary stays out. You know, he could try the one-stop if he were able to fuel save well enough with one set of hard tires, but seeing how this race is playing out right now, I'm not sure if that would be the right move. But as I say that, he does stay out one more, so we'll see. The gears are turning a little bit with this race. It's very interesting to see where these guys are going with the strategy. As I've said before, the Blue Lobby seems to be the one with the most creativity when it comes to race strategies. It's no different so far today. So Lyle back up to third place. Yvonne's still running in fourth on the hard tire.
Sparky goes on the hards.
Ooh. You reckon Sparky's going to try staying out the rest of the way?
Ooh, I think you were just saying, like, it's going to be a difficult task, but not impossible. So well, this could be a good indicator for Cypher, I guess, if Sparky makes this work. But it's, yeah, as you said, it's probably going to be a bit of a difficult task.
I will say,
very interesting choice.
Phil is still the net race leader once this pit cycle ends, I think. Oh, right, nearly on the back of Yvonne there. But he came out ahead of Sarah. He's losing time being behind the Renault right now. Actually, you know what? I think Lyle's the net race leader.
He might well be, yeah. I was just about to discuss that possibility with you.
Oh, here comes Sarah to the inside of Phil, taking advantage of Phil getting hung up there by the Renault. The Lamborghini, side by side with the Ferrari, across the line to start their lap 20. Sarah takes to that inside. Phil gets into the back. He outbroke himself and ends up hitting Yvonne. No damage, thankfully. But he got so caught up in the battle with Sarah that he outbraked himself and ran right into the back of the Renault.
Yeah, I mean, he was just obviously having the superior grip on those tires, which are fresher than Sarah's. He's tried to go around the outside, but yeah, he just obviously didn't expect, you know, he didn't take into account the difference between his and Yvonne's tires and ended up colliding. As you said, actually glad that neither of them got damage out of it. But yeah, it's costly mistake for Phil here. And I was going to say, I think Sarah might be getting closer and closer to Lyle as laps go by. And Lyle is also right at the back of Cypher. He might be coming into the pits this lap. So does Gary, one of our drivers in the top 4.
Yep, so Gary's the last of the top 4 drivers to pit earlier. So he comes in. This might be a one-stop for him on the hard tire, and I think Cypher might be on the same plan here with Sparky. So yeah, I think we are going to see some guys try the one-stop, see how it works. Yvonne's going to be one of those drivers, as she lets Druid in on the inside for 6th place. This has to be her last lap because that tank's about dry.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't for Phil, she might be able to do a few more laps. In the meantime, I'm also seeing Haslett is right at the back of Sparky for P7.
Yeah, those medium tires working a little better than the hards. And I think Sparky's not quite gotten his up to temperature just yet. Although look at this, they're right there with Gary. So Gary's going to be rejoining just ahead of this battle, I think. Yep, the number 17 is just ahead of these two.
That's another set of mediums for Gary, so he's definitely going to have to stop again.
Yeah. So he might be going for a set of softs at the end. Oh, that's tight. That is tight between these guys here. Couldn't even
Haslett
fit
is right
a
there,
slip of
working.
paper.
Haslett is right there, just lurking, waiting for his opportunity as well.
And that's all you really can do sometimes. Oh, he dives it down the inside of Sparky. Sparky gets hung up by Gary. Haslett gives him a little bit of room to at least not crash himself. He thinks about the move there into Junsao, but it gives way, and now they make the run up the hill to make something happen. Yvonne does come in with no fuel, so it'll be interesting to see whether or not that Renault can do a single 19-lap stint on the mediums. Here comes Haslett to the inside, thinking about it anyway. Nothing on Sparky just yet. Gary outbraked himself, though. They're side by side for 5th place. Sparky with the move! And Saber Venom gets stuck behind the GTR. So that's mission accomplished for Sparky. Saber Venom's going to have to try figuring this out the way, I think, because Gary's trying to defend it. Saber Venom thinks about it. He gives the 17 a nudge. And that gives Gary the momentum to try and launch a counterattack on Sparky. Side by side still. The GTR to the outside. Gary got burned by this one. He'll get burned nearly again. As Saber Venom to his inside. Saber Venom now retakes 6th place. So, yes, technically, Gary did get burned by that, just not nearly as bad as he did earlier with Sarah. And now the battle between the number 12 and the 51 will continue. Wow!
This is literally everything that Gary didn't want to happen at this point of the race, but it's been so fun to watch the battle between these three, and they're all still so close together. Let me just mention quickly that Phil is roughly less than a second behind Sarah at this point.
Sarah with a little bit of an offset strategy because she started on the softs. Those mediums are looking pretty worn in right now. So Phil's tire advantage is working for him here. I will also say the car that Gary was racing early, Chaos Druid in the number 66 Lexus, is running in 4th right now in clean air versus Gary, who's stuck behind the battling duo of Sparky and Haslett. So
Yep.
Once again, proving the undercut is the way to go around here.
Yeah, definitely was able to, get clear of some of the traffic quicker than, in this case, than Gary, who's now stuck in this battle for 5th place. Oh, Haslett up the inside.
He kind of had a little help to get to that point, but Haslett does make the move. Gary and Sparky make contact for 6th place. Gary tried going for it to make it a 2-for-1 special. Sparky says, no, I'm not going to let you have it that easy. I think Gary's got the move done. Oh, he has to use the width of the GTR to make it happen, but he does. So Gary back up into 6th. Sparky back down to 7th.
Oh! Just again.
Car around. It's Gary. I think he's dropped it on exit. He's either dropped it on exit or he's had a little bit of help. Considering Sparky's a little further back on Saber Venom than he was initially. No damage. Oh.
Oof.
Just getting word that it was just a regular spin. It was just a spin for Gary. That was... he did not need that today. But yeah, we're looking back at the battle for 2nd between the 9 and the 44. Lamborghini versus Ferrari. Phil's just kind of biding his time right now. He already had a moment battling earlier. I believe it was with Sarah that he had the moment with earlier. So he's just trying to figure out the best opportunity to get around that 9. But the problem is, the longer he spends behind that Lamborghini, the more time he's going to lose. He now moves to the outside of the number 9. He's got to the door, but being on the outside, you're not going to get any momentum that way. Lyle comes in for the second, possibly the final time today. So, Sarah to the inside on a defensive move. No cars in front of Phil this time. Phil gets the move done. Or does he? Sarah with the brilliant crossover. Bree takes the lead, but she now has the outside. But she still has the momentum. She clears the 44, and now Phil's going to have to do it all over again.
Yeah, what a beautiful moment of racing between these two. And I think, Sarah gets a little bit on the straight.
Sarah went a little wide, and that lets Phil possibly for the final time in this battle, in the sequence. Yeah, I think Phil's got it this time. Oh boy.
What a beautiful moment of racing between them two. Yeah, just... Wow, just the way that they were, just calculating every bit of the step that they had to do next in order to overtake their opponent. Pretty good defending, pretty good attacking from both sides. Oh my goodness, Sarah! Oh!
A little bit of a moment. I think that might be her cue to come in, seeing that Lyle's already been in, and she's already been burned by the undercut at least once. I would think now would be a good time to come in. The number 9 pit wall clearly disagree with me. So, yeah, I'm not sure if we're gonna get any takers this time then, because Sarah's got the worst tires out of the field, and everyone else has pitted at least semi-recently, save for Druid, Haslett, and Earth.
Yeah, still all to play for a few of these positions, and yeah, if I were Sarah, I'd probably be looking at pitting in probably the next 1 or 2 laps. And yeah, if she goes on another set of medium, she should be in pretty good shape to the end of the race. Really be able to even push a little harder on those tires. Yeah, just curious to see what's gonna happen. I mean, she's got a gap of about 5 to 6 seconds to Druid behind. But more importantly, I do wonder where this next pit stop is going to put her compared to Lyle.
Yeah, different sequences of pit stops for these guys is... Whoa! Sarah, don't do that. Different sequences of pit stops for these guys based on their starting tire. It's really throwing everybody for a loop. I think Sarah might be coming in. She is.
Yeah, so she's coming in.
Right decision. It'll be for the medium tire, no doubt. Lyle, I think, exited on the medium tire. Yeah, Lyle did. So, should be good to the end on the medium tire for the number 9.
Yeah, I think I see behind a bit of a battle forming between Sparky and Gary for P5.
Yeah, Gary's been using his mediums to his advantage. Sparky's McLaren's not been responding very great to those hard tires. The lapse times he's set have not been very quick. So that's either because these tires just aren't getting the grip he wants, or if the McLaren's just not responding to them correctly. But either way, here comes Gary to the outside of Sparky.
Himself. Run the outside.
Nice and easy by Gary. About as easy as he could get it, as easy as he could want it. Oh, Sparky nearly gets into the back of him, trying to launch counterattack, but that is position gained for the number 17 GTR.
Yeah, and I was just having a look at Sarah exiting the pits. He's definitely a lot closer to Lyle this time compared to the last round of pit stops. I think
That's gonna be
she
huge.
refueled less than Lyle this time,
Yes.
but she still should be able to have enough fuel to go to the end, I think. Just meant that Lyle put a little bit extra fuel compared to Sarah. Definitely put it a lot closer, yeah, this time.
Well, when Lyle pitted, Lyle basically, fueled up the entire tank, about 5% short of filling up the tank. And that was a slightly over halfway, I'd say.
Yeah. I think he just didn't want to take a risk of... I think he just probably didn't want to take the risk of, having to fuel save towards the end of the race. Maybe, just doesn't want to have to deal with that and be sure that he only needs to manage the tires. I think he speeded around 2 laps ago, yeah. Just 2 laps ago as he crosses the line now. Yeah, I mean... It's definitely interesting. Yeah, I think stairs should be about 5 seconds, probably less than that. Which is going to spice things up in the upcoming laps, that's for sure.
And what's going to make things a little more spicy for me is when the lead group decides to pit and what tire they're going to go on. Like, no doubt these guys are going to have to go to the softs when they pit. If they haven't changed their compound already, like Lyle and Sarah have. It's just going to be really interesting to see how these guys budget their tires and when they pull that trigger, because as I mentioned, the undercut's very powerful around here, but there's also there's a lifetime threshold with the soft tire.
And as we've seen, it's pretty limited.
Yeah, I think Sarah had about 10, 11 laps, or 10 good laps on those tires. Lyle had 9.
Yeah, and even then, they just probably wanted to make sure they'd stretch that stint a little bit so that they wouldn't compromise the upcoming ones, which was a bit of they had to balance all those factors, but realistically, probably be getting at least guaranteed 8 good laps out of them before they completely fall off the cliff. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, for example, if Phil manages to build a bigger gap to Druid behind him at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if he does a cheeky pit stop as late as possible, just to really assure that he's going to keep that fastest lap.
Well, he's just crossed the line to start 11 to go. So it really makes me wonder, especially with Druid, when he's going to be coming in. He's going to have to come in soon anyway for fuel.
Because of fuel, yeah.
But trying to do 10 laps on the softs in the Lexus RCF, I don't know. Whatever reason, I'm just not seeing that being incredibly viable due to how worn each of his right fronts have come back from the car.
Yeah, absolutely. Those front tires are taking a real beat today. It's gonna be tricky for him to be able to make the stops last as long as maybe drivers in other cars. I mean, be an interesting decision what he does next, but yeah.
He did 15 laps on his first set of mediums. He might be able, if he's brave enough, he might be able to do one more after this one, so that he'll only have to do 9 laps on a soft tire.
Yeah.
The less amount of time you have to do on the soft tire, the better, I feel like.
Yeah, I think that's the case here. Won't be having. I mean, I don't think he'll be going onto the hard tires. That's for sure. I mean, he's just really gonna have to compromise a few of his laps just to really make sure that those softs last to the end. It's going to come in now, yeah.
10 laps on the soft
1%
tire
fuel.
for 66. It's going to be an ask for Druid, and we'll see if he can rise to the occasion on that call. I will say there's a battle brewing right now for 6 between Murph and Lyle. Murph is another one of those guys that needs to pit soon. He pitted with Druid at the end of lap 15.
Ooh.
He lets Lyle go, so we might be seeing Druid have a little bit of company in the pit lane here. Yes, Murph is using his signal. He will be coming in this time. So the number 11 is in for the final time. He also will he's probably going to be following Druid's strategy, whatever strategy that may be here. Let's see, it's a set of soft tires for. He's got 10 laps to nurse. He's got 10 laps to nurse that tire home to the end. And Murph pitting moves Sarah to P6. Lyle's up to P5. Excuse me. Druid pitting moves them up to 6th and 5th respectively. And Druid came out in 7th. So he's not in a bad spot coming out in 7th. See where else we'll see where Murph comes out at. I think he's kind of locked in at 10th for the time being, as Phil has actually put him a lap down. So
Yeah.
one less lap for Murph to do, at least for now. But we know Phil's going to have to come in soon. Haslett comes in from 2nd place. This looks more like a fuel stop than anything, although his right front is also looking pretty beaten.
Yeah. I mean, he was always going to have to pit for, if it was just for fuel soon. I mean, I don't know, it probably might be a bit strange to say it, but I probably would have done an extra lap. Just to really make sure that I'd use up a little bit of the tires, a bit of better shape for the rest of the stint.
Someone's doing a little bit of off-roading. It's Murph. Murph's, before he's even gone to Yunsao, going through Merculo. He's had a moment and he's gone around.
Oh,
Cold tires. Has he gone behind the wall? He has gone behind the wall.
well, he has.
I didn't even know you could go behind that wall. Thank you, Murph, for pointing that out. I didn't know you could go behind that wall. But Phil's come in from the lead. So it'll be 7 laps to the end on a set of soft tires. I think that's very manageable, even in the Ferrari 458.
Isn't that a little bit too much fuel?
To be safe than sorry when it comes to fuel.
That is true. That is true. I mean, it does still have a gap to Gary. He's probably going to come out of the pits closer than he would have liked.
Gary's right there. So Phil's gonna give Gary a little bit of slipstream. Remember, these two are T50 teammates. So I have a feeling Phil's gonna give Gary as much slip as he can to help his battle, potentially. But that's also going to depend on whether or not that GTR can keep up with that Ferrari on soft tires. But aside from those two, the field, once again, has spread itself out to a nice rhythm. So Our main talking point today has been the strategies, and will continue to be so for at least a little bit longer. I wonder if Gary can stay out on this tire the next 8 laps and actually be fine if he nurses those tires well enough.
Yeah, I'm wondering about the fuel situation. It seems like... Yeah, I mean... I don't think he'll have enough fuel to go to the end from here. Or if he does, it might be very close.
No, he's got to come in for fuel.
See it. Maybe a cheeky the fastest lap attempt taking away from Phil as well could be interesting for him, get those extra points on the board.
Yeah, but the problem is he'll have to spend time in the pits fueling up the car, which will no doubt cost some time to Sparky, but also to Lyle and Sarah.
Yeah, he's got a 10-second gap to Sparky at the moment. And, well, Lyle is about 2 or 3 seconds behind Sparky. And Sarah roughly within that gap from Lyle. So yeah, if he's gonna pit, he's gonna have to make a decision soon. So that even when he pits, even if he ends up behind them, which is probably going to be the case, that he still has enough time to ensure that he'll make the most out of the softs in order to possibly retake a few of those positions back. Might be a bit optimistic, but we'll have to see. Stays out for another lap.
More. But I think that will be the last lap he stays out.
Yeah, I think it's gotta be the case, because he'll only be losing out more and more time to the cars behind. And in the meantime, Phil, that's a statement of a lap, and he's improving as well. Sector 1 just went purple again. The 32.7 at the moment.
That 44 is looking blisteringly quick. I don't think, barring an act of God, anyone is going to be catching that 44 car.
Yeah, Phil has just been relentless this race. I mean, throughout the entirety of the event, I must say. And yeah, I just say it's very difficult to imagine a scenario where he doesn't win this race.
I will say, Lyle's caught right up to Sparky. Those hard tires. You'd think by now those hard tires would have broken in and then McLaren would have got comfy, but no, it clearly hasn't. And Lyle, in the number 3 Ferrari, right on the back of that number 12 McLaren, coming to 5 to go between these two.
Yeah, and the more they fight, the higher the chance will be that Sarah will be right there, just lurking and waiting for her opportunity. Let's get a bit sideways out of Jonson, and she gets a half a second penalty. Not ideal. Gary's in the pit. Ooh, but I think, I don't know, it's going to be very difficult for him to come out in a decent gap and still make up a few positions. I think, yeah, that fight he had at the beginning of this stint. Oh, what happened?
Simon, I think, battling with Murph and letting Phil go. He went around in Destino de Lago and has resulted in him falling further back. He was challenging Murph for that P10. Gary only now coming out of the pit lane on a set of soft tires behind Haslett. So him staying out longer in the end was not the right decision.
Yeah, I mean, even then, like, he's obviously going to get great performance out of these softs, but he's not going to be able to maximize it really, because he won't have as many laps as he would like to possibly try to narrow the gap and overtake some of the cars in front of him. I think what really the key moment in this race was the fact that he was stuck behind those cars at the beginning of his previous stint. It just cost him a lot of time. Yeah, just sorry for interrupting you there.
Oh no, you're good. He's only got 5 laps to get himself back into a potential podium spot. I don't see it right now because these tires aren't the tires most of these guys are on are not aging nearly badly enough to get himself into that position. So as fast as he can be on soft, he'd also have to rely on these guys having very worn tires, and that's even with guys like Lyle and Sparky battling it out heavily for second and third. I just don't see if the tires aging to that point yet. Especially with so few laps remaining.
Yeah, I think it might have been the sort of window of opportunity that Gary had to pit and really ensure that he'd be able to make the most out of the soft tires and still keep within a reasonable distance of the cars in front. Probably close by the time he had pitted. But he still has an off chance of maybe getting a fastest lap, but then again it's going to be really difficult because that lap time from Phil is mighty impressive.
Yeah, 32.4, that's going to be very, very tough to beat. As we watch the battle for second, Sparky! Yeah, he made a slight mistake. He's trying to use that Mclaren advantage, trying to close the door on Lyle. Lyle's not having it. Looking to the inside of the number 12 It's McLaren versus Ferrari at Interlagos once again. Massive fans, shield your eyes for a second. But it looks like these two right now coming away perfectly fine for the time being. Sparky still leads in second place from Lyle. This battling is helping Sarah get back into this thing with 3 to go.
I was about to say Sarah gained so much time out of this little moment between Lyle and Sparky, and it's definitely given her a bit more hope into the possibility of her being able to get that podium position in this race.
Yeah, those hard tires, they might now finally be starting to click for Sparky, but they're way down on the canvas now. It's way too late. He's really having to try to be a little desperate with his defensive measures versus Lyle, who's got the fresher, grippier tires. It's definitely going to be a task for Sparky. Ooh, that might be a little...
Penalty.
That might be a little close there, Sparky. We'll see.
He won't.
No. He's all clean there.
My goodness, Sarah is right behind him now.
Yeah, Sarah is ready to pounce on these two if something happens between either one of them. As they're coming to 2 to go, there's a car slow up top there of Jun Sao. It's Simon. He had a little bit of a moment going wide. We stay green. He's getting the blue flags, so no doubt he'll be getting those in his mirror, getting those on a steering wheel. He's usually pretty aware about this stuff, so shouldn't have to worry. But now look at this. Lyle's taking the defensive on Sarah into the set S. They're side by side. They're door banging. Sparky with a bad set of S. Lyle with a bad set of S. Sarah cannot steer that car enough.
Oh my
Poor
goodness.
Simon almost got his mirror cleavered off. As we head towards the Cita del Lago, Sarah once again trying the outside. Crossover on line. Gets the move done and helps the 3 stay in a straight line.
And I think Sparky might be the next week because he got a really bad exit out of the Cita del Lago. And once again, a little bit of contact there. They're so close to one another.
He's trying to pin Sarah to that outside, but Sarah's holding on tenaciously. He threw the truck. That's not the first time he's done that today, but that might be the last time because Sarah gets the move. She gives it a little bit to him again. He dives back down to the inside, side by side. And Sarah has to relinquish the position for now as we're coming to 1 to go.
Oh my goodness. Lyle is right there again. Oh my goodness! Moving and
Sarah
braking there.
drives it down the inside again! And Sparky catches a little bit of the grass here at the curb, and I think this time it ends it!
Oh wow! Sparky has just gone from being in second place to fourth at the end of this lap. But it's, well, nothing is confirmed yet. I mean,
absolute heartbreak for that number 12 McLaren as they cross the line for one to go. Phil, who's made his way to that second sector. It is his last lap. He's already hit it. We'll be eagerly awaiting.
Sparky!
Whoa!
Oh.
These guys are done.
They're
just not quitting.
Everything.
Although I think Sparky might have used up the last of his stuff defending from Sarah. I don't think that McLaren's got much more to give him.
Ooh. I think Lyle might have lost a little bit of time to Sarah there. Sparky's still within reach, I think. It's gonna be difficult. Now his fuel situation will allow him to take more risks also in that sense.
It's been an absolute barn burner for Phil, the number 44. He wins in the sprint. He just missed on pole. It's no hat trick, but Phil wins the final feature race of the Blue season at Interlagos. Brilliant stuff by him. It looks like Sarah's going to hold on for second place, barring anything happening through Chutzhao. That Lamborghini keeping it straight. And I think, yes, she's got this one. The number 9 of Sarah Hockey will finish the season strong with a brilliant second place ahead of Unem Lyle in the number 3 and Sparky in the number 12 McLaren. And Druid, I didn't think he was gonna, but he did. He holds on 10 laps on those soft tires in 5th place ahead of Gary in 6th place ahead of Haslett, who ran out of gas. The 51 is out of gas.
Ooh.
But he's got such a gap to Cypher, it doesn't even matter.
Wow. What an ending to this race. I mean, Cypher and Yvonne are still yet to cross the line, but...
Yeah, a couple cars still running around. It is Cypher, who about empty on that tank. He crosses the line.
Great recovery from him.
Yes, P8 for him after that lap 1 kerfuffle. And Yvonne in her first race this season, and her last race this season, will come across the line P9, the last of the cars on the lead lap. All I can say, Pedro, is wow.
I'm just about as in awe as you are. That was, especially that final lap as well. That was, oh, everything was kicking off. I mean, I don't even know where to start. I guess, well, Phil, what a way to finish off the season. Season where he was plagued by bad luck in quite a few of these races. Finishing on a high note. Hasn't been the first time we've had an impressive performance by a car with the number 44 around this track. Well, Sarah, as I was predicting, as I was hoping that would happen, you know, phenomenal performance in the feature, getting a very well-deserved P2. She was on it throughout the entire race. Yeah, she got unlucky in the sprint, but very good P2 finish to end the season. While with another podium, just proving once again just how quick he was and how how worthy he was of getting this result. Sparky with another solid P4 position. A bit of a heartbreak at the end of the race, but can only be happy with a double P4 finish around here. With the P5, I think a very solid race from him. Just managed to, you know, battle the tire wear of that Lexus very nicely. Got some really good moves done, and yeah, managed to make those softs last that long. I think this race from Gary was a bit of what could have been, because he was super quick. Beginning of his last stint on the mediums was not ideal. He lost a lot of time, and I think he made the switch onto these soft tires pretty late on. Haslett with another solid race from him as well. I think he couldn't really have done more. He just managed everything quite well. Cypher with a great recovery from that lap 1 incident. That incident at the beginning of the race. Yvonne, great to have her back. Solid P9. Good sprint as well. Hopefully, we'll be able to see a lot more appearances from her in future seasons. I know she had to endure a few issues, and yeah, just really glad to have her back. And then, yeah, just Murph and Simon, a bit of difficult races from them too, but yes, super proud of them for finishing the race in the way they did. Yeah, just rounding off the grid. Yeah, once again, it's really always good to see them out on track. And if this last race of the season is anything to go by, I mean, I hope that beginning of season 6 might give us many more of these exciting battles. Yes, already looking forward. Well, first we'll have to see what the red lobby drivers are up to, but yeah, just in terms of the blue lobby, what a brilliant race, what a brilliant set of races those were. Yeah, super excited to see what happens next. Yeah, just don't know if you have any thoughts, anything you want to add?
No, well, it's a very intriguing strategy battle, as it usually is around here at Interlagos. And
yeah,
boy, you just didn't know what was going to be coming next.
Yeah, I mean, people just going with the 1-stop or the 2-stop was, yeah, once again, in that sense, was pretty good to see as well.
And no penalties confirmed from the stewards' room. So the finishing order of the race, as you saw on track, Phil, Sarah, Lyle, Sparky, Druid, Gary, Haslett, Cypher, Yvonne, Murph, and Simon still holds. But now, Pedro, the tough question. Who is your driver of the day?
Ooh. I mean, I think it's a bit inevitable that we don't give it to Phil. I mean, don't get me wrong, just I think there were many standout performances today, and I'd be one to giving it as well. So, a few shout-outs to drivers like Lyle and Sarah today. I think Phil was in a different league today. He's really able to really unleash the pace out of that Ferrari and maximize the performance. The sprint is just starting from P9, getting a very impressive result. Finishing this race in the P1 with a big gap to the cars behind. I mean, I think it has to be him, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. It's gotta be Phil. He was just lights out all day today, and he needed that kind of an end to the season, and that'll be good for him to build momentum on season 6.
I agree.
But I think with that, it's time to it's time to get to my Lexus. They're calling for me. So tell you what.
Well, we're gonna have to jump on the cars, yeah.
Yeah. So thank you Pedro for joining me. Thank you all for watching this season of Nighthawk F1 RST racing season. I'll see you in a couple minutes here for the red feature. See ya.
Yeah. See you later.
The final qualifying session of the season, season 5, round 10. Obviously, Interlagos, we had a good sprint race that you've just seen, and we're going to see how the drivers qualified. So in P1, Katie Lakai on the mediums. He's definitely still in this championship off with some good results, but he sets his time on the mediums with a 1:32.2. And just behind him, a couple of tenths behind him, we have Mercedes going for something slightly different today, going on the soft tyres. He sets the time with a 1:32.4. In P3, we have Fodder. He's looking to outscore Midnight He sets his time on the mediums with a 1:32.9. Then in P4 we have Pedro, also on the mediums with a 1:33.2. And very close, lead behind is Nigel Mansell on the mediums with a 1:33.266. I think only 4 thousandths of a second behind Pedro, so those two were very close. In P6 we have Midnight ISO on the mediums with a 1:33.4.
And then in P7 we have the winner from the sprint race earlier on, taking P7 on a 1:33.6 of medium tyres. Then in P8 we have Coach ahead of Sutu Racing, P8 1:33.7, barely half a tenth behind Ziggy. Then P9 we have Sophie on the hard tyres on a 1:34.6, perhaps looking at a 1-stop, taking P9, so that's going to be interesting to watch. Then P10 Sicily on medium tyres 1:36.6, just ahead of Big Crazy Bertie in P11 on medium tyres 1:35.7. Now we do know it has been a hard race for Bertie in this one. He's suffering with a few issues, but we wish him well in this race and good luck to him. And in P12, also hard tyres, perhaps a little bit out of position for where we'd normally see him, but Charlie, P12, 1:35.9. So that's a bit of a topsy-turvy grid in this one, but you have to say, as per normal, our now Season 5 champion, Katie Nakai, showing the others exactly what to do.
Yeah, and obviously he's now a double Nighthawk Racing champion, and obviously the first to do so. So he's definitely, showing these drivers how it's done, and it's so nice he had to do it twice. But hopefully, I think for him the only way to finish this season off is with a win. So let's see if he can do that. But obviously the vast majority of the grid also going on the medium tyres, maybe following Katie Nakai. But it was interesting to see obviously Mercedes going for the softs, the only driver to do so, and the two guys at the back of the grid going for the hard tyres, obviously going for a little bit more of an alternative strategy. Very interesting. Let's see how everyone gets on, and hopefully they've enjoyed the season 5 and are eager to get this round done, have a little bit of a break, and then come back for season 6.
Sounds perfect to me, Sarah. And with that note, it's time to get this season finished and move on to season 6 afterwards. But before that, this feature race it's not what I would want to miss, so stay tuned and enjoy the race.
Right, we're waiting for the countdown for the last race of the season here at Red Lobby, the feature race at Interlagos. We've got Katie Nakai on pole, surprise there, but Mercedes on the softs in P2. Nigel getting a great start in that Ferrari, he's setting himself up into P3. Pedro into that P4 position now, and we've already got the two GTRs in front going for it, but Mercedes capitalising on those soft tyres, getting a great launch, setting himself into P1 with Nigel nearly losing the rear end of that Ferrari. Louis, it's all going on here in the first few corners.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've had lots of mixed starts there. We had, like I said, Mercedes using the soft tyres to jump Kai into P1, and he'll want to try and use them as quickly as he can now to try and build a little bit of a gap up. Nigel is having a very up and down start currently, and unfortunately Ziggy had a terrible start. I don't know what happened there, but that 4C just did not move off the line, and he's dropped down into P11. But yeah, it's all going off. Max got a half-second penalty, Nigel with the half-second. That's the Ferraris tandeming their penalties together, and yeah, it'll just be a little bit of chaos probably for the first couple laps, and then hopefully it will settle down.
We hope so, but we've got a few, like you say, pointing out Mac there. He's joined us for the feature race, as well as Iceman here as well. And Charlie in P12 at the moment, he started on the hard tyres, so I'm assuming he's waiting for those hard tyres to warm up a little bit. He's just off the back of the grid just a little bit here. But like I say, with Ziggy, obviously P11, fresh off of a sprint race victory. We may see another Ziggy masterclass here, but he's warming up at the moment. It looks like Sicily going onto the inside here, getting past Mac, who had to burn that penalty. And that 4C is looking for an overtake on the Ferrari as well. And we've got Midnight going for a move on Nigel, and Nigel coming back at him. The two coming together, elbows out. And it looks like Midnight managing to stay in front of Nigel there.
Yeah, little sort of repeat move from what they had in the sprint race there, but Midnight managed to get far enough in front to not allow Nigel to try and sneak back up the inside, and he'll be set off now, chasing down Coach and Sophie to get in that fight there. And we've got Fodder and Pedro quite close together as well, battling for P3.
Yeah, I was just looking on board with Mercedes here as well. Obviously, the only driver opting for the soft tyres here. And we saw Bertie use them in the sprint race, but we haven't seen many people decide to opt for the softs here. So I'm interested to see how that works for Mercedes. Mercedes always likes to choose the slightly different strategy alongside Midnight as well. He's a unique strategy picker, but interesting to see how he gets on. Obviously, Katie Dekai already on the charge. He's not too far behind, so Mercedes is definitely going to keep that foot to the floor. And Pedro is trying to fight off Fodder here. Fodder looks like he's eager to get into that P3 position. And currently, everyone else is single file over the last corner and is going on to lap number 3. And Charlie's still trying to catch up a little bit on those hard tyres, as well as Iceman, who had a bit of a bad start.
Yes, and they all seem to have now kind of settled a little bit. We've got a lot of sort of 5 or 6 cars here, all quite close together, but it has kind of settled a little bit. We've got Midnight right on the back of Coach here, so he'll be looking probably for a move down the inside if he can of that Supra. But as we know, Coach is very, very difficult to get past. He's one of the best defenders of his position we've got in the league, so he doesn't give it up easy. If you want to pass Coach, you're going to have to work for it, that's for sure.
And we've got Mac here trying to find a gap. We can't quite find a gap on Coach here at the moment. And Sophie as well in P5. She's the highest starter on the hard tyres at the moment. So she's managed to get the balance of those tyres right in that Renault. But I don't know, obviously the hard tyres, it will bring her a little bit further into the race, but if Coach and Mac and everyone behind can catch up a little bit, we may see her drop a few positions here while those hard tyres get up to performance. It looks like Midnight had to burn a bit of a penalty there, which drops him into potentially P10 if Zicky can get around him, which he looks like he's going to. So a rare mistake by Midnight there, possibly.
Yeah, we've seen Fodder's past Pedro as well for P3. I think Pedro made a little bit of a mistake potentially. Didn't quite see it coming out of the left-hander at the bottom of the hill, and I think Fodder slipped up the inside, and he's now taking that P3 position.
Yeah, and McManley trying to again force Coach into a mistake, but like I said earlier, Coach, one of the hardest drivers to pass, showing us exactly why he's the hardest person to pass out on track, placing that Supra all in the right places, and I'm sure Mac is eager to get past or have a little bit of a battle, but at the moment Coach placing that Supra exactly where he wants to. But saying that, I thought Mac might have tried to force the Ferrari up on the inside of the Supra then, but I think slightly better of it. Fodder picking up a 1 second penalty, so that might see Pedro get back that P3 position for now. And it looks like up at the front, Katie Dekai is getting closer and closer to that other GTR of Mercedes. So obviously the soft tyres, 4 laps in, is no comparison for Katie Dekai on the charge.
Yeah, I think they've at that point now where we've had the tyre kind of switch over already now, where the mediums is now kind of becoming the better tyre to be on, even just after 4 laps. So those softs are not lasting brilliantly. That front right is wearing quite quickly, so it'll be interesting to see how long it takes for Kai to make a move on Mercedes here for P1.
Mac looks very sideways coming out of the corner there, but he's still battling hard with Coach. He went out the slipstream, then went back into the slipstream of the Supra, coming out to brake a little bit, but you've got this little gaggle of cars here from P5 all the way down to P10 fighting for positions, and it's allowed Midnight to catch up to this group of cars again. So that's put Midnight in a good position to make up a few moves. Going on the outside of Ziggy here. Ziggy on the inside of that Alpha. Midnight out to the outside. Going very wide out on track. And looks like Mac and Nigel, the two Ferraris, side by side again. This time no penalties. Yeah, looks like an interesting fight between those five or six cars at the moment. We've got Charlie with a 1 second penalty. Not having a great start to the race, Charlie, in that BMW.
No, he seems to be struggling a bit on those hard tyres. Just can't get in the groove with it. And so he picked up a 1 second penalty as well to boot. So he's probably not enjoying the start to his feature race at all at the moment. As we see Ziggy potentially making a move on Nigel here into turn 1.
Yeah, what a move. He
Get
sent
that car
it on
stopped.
Nigel.
Yeah, good move there from Ziggy, and we got the three in front of them now really close together. So this could be interesting into turn 4. We'll see Coach go for a move instead of having to defend. Doesn't go for it this time.
Well, it looks like I think the Ziggy. Oh my god! Midnight gone on the inside there, getting past both Nigel and Ziggy. He wasn't waiting around, was Midnight. I saw Nigel coming to a stop in the middle of the track. I think he potentially thought that he got a bit tangled up with Ziggy, and maybe the confusion led Midnight to make his way through, but was not expecting that. Got a bit jump scared. But he's looking to catch up to Mac here, who still hasn't got past Coach. Although, as I said, that must have been commentator's curse or good like karma. He manages to get past Coach exactly when I said he wouldn't be able to.
Yes, I'm sure he'll be happy not to be looking at the back of that Supra now. He'll be looking forward and trying to make a move on Sophie potentially into turn 1 here. So that's released him to go up for this P5, and there's a big gap there then up to Fodder in P4. So we'll stick with this one and see how this pans out.
I mean, you definitely
around the outside
to Mac here, because starting at the back of the grid, because obviously he couldn't join us in the qualifying. He's already managed to get himself up into that P5 position with only in 7 laps.
Yeah, lovely move on Sophie there, using those extra grip of those medium tyres to go around the outside there on turn 1. Brilliant move.
Looks like somewhere Ziggy has dropped to P11, which was promoted Siddeley into P10. Again, Siddeley in that Lexus struggling a little bit around Interlagos here. Seems to be a track that you either love or you hate in certain cars. And I think some of the cars are struggling here a little bit today.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of sort of slower speed, tight corners, so you need to have good grip on the exit. And yeah, I said some of these cars are struggling a little bit with the oversteer coming out of some of these corners. So it is a tricky track to drive. It's not one of my personal favourite ones, but these guys are doing a good job so far.
So somewhere in that last lap or so, Mercedes has managed to make a little bit of a break for it, and has increased that gap between himself and Katie Dekai. Obviously, time isn't on Mercedes' favourite, being on those soft tyres, but Pedro seems to be doing pretty well in that P3 position at the moment.
Yeah, he'll be happy to be able to see the front 2, and he can keep this pace up. He's got good pace, so he'll be wanting to keep these 2 in view, so we'll know where he is on track. And I think Kai made a bit of a mistake a couple of laps ago. He dropped about 2 seconds on lap. I didn't see it, but he obviously made a mistake or had a penalty somewhere. He dropped 2 seconds back, but he's get on the back of Mercedes now, who's that front right tyre is very, very close to giving him no grip whatsoever. I think he probably will be in this lap, I'd imagine, to get
Yeah,
off
he's definitely feeling
those
it.
tyres.
You can see in that last, well, definitely the infield section here with the twisty turny bit, you're definitely feeling that lack of grip, because you can see Kada Nakai has managed to get that gap down to pretty small margins now. And I wouldn't be surprised, like you say, if Mercedes doesn't come into the pits. He's hugging that left-hand side. And you called it, he's into the pits.
Yep, so it'll be interesting to see what tyre he goes. And like I said, he likes to do a bit of a weird tyre strategy, so you never know, he could pick mediums or hards here. We'll have to see what he goes on to.
So it's quite a long pit lane here at Interlagos. Mercedes hasn't reached the pit box just yet, but I'm sure he'll be eager to get those tyres on as quick as he can, not lose too many positions, and obviously set himself up for a good second stint as he's leaving the pits at the moment. Looks like he's going to come out just behind this battle between Sidley and Ziggy. Let's see what tyres he goes on to now.
So he's back on softs again, so he's going for a very aggressive strategy here today.
Interesting. Obviously, having to pit extremely early compared to obviously the drivers around him, but he's obviously extracting the most amount of performance on those soft tyres at the moment, deciding to stick on them for another stint. As we see Sophie drifting that Renault round the corner there, she's been able to keep Coach at bay at the moment, but Midnight, who's tucked up behind Coach, eager to get past as soon as he can. Talking about obviously letting people pass Coach, Mac obviously since having a little bit of a break, not seeing the rear end of that Supra, he's managed to make a little bit of a break for it in that P4 position at the moment. As we jump on board with Midnight here, going across the line for P10, he's going onto the inside line here. Not sure if he's going to go for it. I didn't think he was going to go for it there. Nearly 3 wide between Sophie, Coach and Midnight into turn 1. He's going side by side with Coach. Coach seeing the Midnight as a fully alongside and doesn't fight it too much.
No, let Midnight through there, and Midnight will be chasing down Sophie now, looking to make that move, get that move done as quick as he can. Doesn't want to get held up for too long while he's still got the pace on those medium tyres.
So saying that, Sophie on the hard tyres, she's done a pretty good job. Obviously, for the most majority of it, holding that P5 position on the hard tyres, she's done a good job so far. And that Renault doesn't look like an easy car to drive.
No, definitely not. Like you say, yeah, she's done brilliantly to get herself into P5 and keep it there. So see Midnight, well, she's just gone a bit wider. I can allow Midnight at the inside.
I'm sure Midnight would be eager to try and maybe get in the slipstream of Max Ferrari here, which might bring him a little bit closer to fodder. Obviously, those two still pretty much fighting for P2 at the moment. It's right down to the wire between those two, which is always exciting, especially obviously this late into the season. But Midnight's got a bit of a challenge on his hands. He's still got big collision between Coach and Sophie.
Yeah, I think Coach got a tap from Nigel there, unfortunately, which pushed him into Sophie. I think Nigel just outbraking himself and just clipping the back of Coach's car, which, as we know with the Gran Turismo physics, just pushed him in. But Nigel giving the place back to Sophie there, realising he made a little error and just lets her back through. So good driving there from Nigel.
Yeah, I've got to agree. Obviously, good awareness as well that he slowed down just enough to let Sophie through without kind of putting himself or anyone else in a difficult position. But yeah, obviously sometimes these things happen, but good that Nigel gave the place back. But that has enabled Midnight and Coach to have a little bit of a break from the Renault. And they'll be trying to catch, like I said, Mac, who's currently in that P4 position at the moment. Mercedes is already nearly on the back of this little group of cars. He's about a corner away from Nigel. So after that pit stop, he's managed to get that GTR back within the fighting pack here. Apart from that, obviously a little bit different from the sprint race. The sprint race was pretty much go, go, go from the start. I think we're about to enter that kind of cooling off period, as we call it. Although saying that, we've still got that battle ranging from, I'd say, about P5 all the way down to P10 at the minute. But everyone has pretty much got enough gap from the driver in front and behind them to have a little bit of a breather.
Yeah, and we're getting to that sort of phase of the race now where tyres are sort of starting to go off a little bit, so people will be thinking about strategies and probably pit stops in the next 4 or 5 laps, I would imagine, for some people. And it'd be interesting to see what people have decided to do, what strategies they've worked out before the race, and obviously where they are on track at the moment, whether they can make a little jump on somebody in front of them by pitting a lap earlier. So it'll be interesting, and for people like Mercedes, who won't really know where he's at the moment because he's on a completely different strategy than everybody else, so he'll need to clear Nigel and Sophie's coming up on now as quick as he can to make whatever strategy he's conjured up work for him. So he'll be on a charge here and a mission to get past these two as quick as he can.
Oh, looks like a bit of a sideways moment for Nigel there. Maybe feeling the pressure a little bit from Mercedes, who is tucked up behind him at the moment. But good save by Nigel there. As it looks like Mercedes is eyeing up that move on Nigel now. Obviously on a little bit of more fresher tyres on the softs, trying to make them use their full potential at the moment, although Nigel is still on the inside there, although a bit risky between the two there. Mercedes catching a lot of grass and facing very sideways, but holds on to the GTR. But a bit of a dicey move between the two, and I'm sure they'll be fighting again for it in a second.
Yeah, and these are the things that, like I say, like Mercedes won't be wanting to do on this strategy that he's on. He's battling too much. He wants to try and get through these bits of traffic as quick as he can. So this is going to be hurting his race and hurting his strategy at the moment. And just looking through to see what's going on. Kai at the front here's got a 1 second penalty. Like I said, everyone else just kind of line of stern at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like Charlie is getting a little bit closer to Sidley here. So the BMW, I don't think it's best suited around a twisty, turny track like this. In that car, it's quite hard to put the power down early, and I think Charlie is finding that out at the moment. So he's still on the hard tyres for Charlie. And looks like Mercedes has managed to get past Nigel here in the last couple of corners, and is already on the charge for Sophie for that P7 position at the moment. But obviously, like what we alluded to earlier with the two soft pit stops at the moment, he doesn't really know where he is out on track, and it's put him right back into the mid-pack fighting for these positions, which, like you say, obviously not going to do his tyre wear any good. But it's good to see him going for some overtakes. But I don't know, it's a risky strategy for Mercedes here.
Yeah, he'll be glad now. He's, like I said, he's cleared Sophie and Nigel, but like I said, he's pitted once and he's used up sort of half that right front already. Sort of, just like I say, just coming back through and just battling through people. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see once he pits again what he goes on to next time tyre wise. He'll try and figure out where he is in relation to everybody else.
looks like Fodder is getting closer and closer to Pedro here as the two obviously being on mediums. Roughly the same amount of tyre wear between the two. Although what we saw earlier with that Lamborghini in the sprint race, that when that tyre falls off, so does the performance and the grip in the rear end of that Lamborghini. So we'll see if Pedro can have a little bit more better luck in the feature race. But within that last couple of corners or so, Fodder's really managed to catch up.
Yeah, that right rear is a problem on that Lamborghini with the high tyre wear. He's struggling at this phase of the race now with the rear grip of that Lamborghini. So that's what's brought Fodder quite close in. He's probably taken a good second or so out of Pedro the last couple of laps. So we'll be able to see how long Pedro keeps going on these tyres, or whether he thinks he'll come in and not want to be jumped by Fodder in the first round of pit stops.
We'll have to keep an eye on these two battling it out, and like I say, it will be an interesting decision to see if Fodder follows Pedro into the pits or tries to go for that overcut around here. But Mac is in a bit of no man's land at the moment. He's got himself in a nice little position here where he's got a little bit of breathing room to midnight behind, and he's still on trying to catch Fodder and Pedro up in front. And if these two battle, that could bring Mac into the fight.
Yeah, Fodder's got a good run there. Out the left-hander. Don't think he's going to be quite close enough to make a move. Down here into turn 4, no. I think he'll be able to see how much Pedro's struggling. He'll just be biding his time, waiting. He's got a chance here. But he sling it round the outside into the right-hander. Side by side. Great racing between these two here. Pedro keeps that position for now.
Yeah, like I say, good racing between the two. Although you can really see that Lamborghini struggling for grip coming out of the corners, which is putting the ball into Fodder's court at the moment, because he's managing to put that power down just that a little bit earlier. But Pedro placing the Lamborghini on the apexes, although getting a little bit wide on the exit, which has put him in a little bit of a better position. But will he come into the pits? He's hugging this left-hand side. It looks like he is. He's coming into the pits, but Fodder goes round again. Fodder trying to make the overcut work here. Obviously, this will have to be a stonking lap by him to try and claw back some time. As we see, obviously, Pedro coming into the pits, making his way into his pit box. We'll see what tyres he goes on to next. I think I'd imagine some of the other drivers on mediums will see that and will start thinking if it's their time to come in or not. As you see Ziggy also following him in. We've had a little bit of a coming together from Mac and Iceman. Mac trying to get past Iceman with their blue flags.
Yeah, we see Mercedes passing Coach as well into turn 4. So, but as you can see, Mercedes tyres, those softs have pretty much gone again now already. So,
yeah, especially that
the second stint has not really worked out for him. I don't think really on these soft tyres. Unfortunately for him, he's been held up a lot more than he would have wanted to be, and it's costing quite a lot of time, I think.
Yeah, I suppose that's the risks that sometimes you've got to take, that although it's the fastest tyre, obviously he didn't come out in clean air and he was battling from pretty much as soon as he put those tyres on. So would that have been the risk that you would have took, or would you gone for a slightly different tyre in that second stint?
I think it's difficult when it's such high tyre wear and the tyres don't last. Like I said, you've got to have a bit of luck on your side that if you when you pit early, that you come out in clean air and you haven't got a battle and you can use the speed of the soft tyres, which unfortunately Mercedes has not really been able to do, which is why he hasn't sort of made up as much ground as he would have liked to have done. So it is like you said, a risky strategy to do, but some people just like to try something a little bit different. You never know, if on one day it works out perfect and the next time it doesn't quite go that way. So unfortunately for Mercedes, it's just not quite worked out how you would have liked, I'd imagine.
Yeah, true. I think Mercedes wanted to kind of do the all guns blazing approach with trying to, lap after lap go as fast as you can. But I mean, hopefully, obviously, this second stint we might see him put on a slightly different type of rubber and get back in the fight a little bit more. As we see Pedro coming round the corner into that P6, he's managed to get out in front of Fodder. Maybe Fodder potentially going one lap too long there.
Yeah, and I think Pedro's slightly underfueled compared to Fodder as well, which would have saved him a little bit of time in the pits as well.
Oh, Mercedes here picking up a 3-second penalty for potentially either crossing the pit entry or pit exit. That's not put him in the best of positions there.
No, he'll be thinking, I think maybe this is not going to be my day at the moment, the way things have gone for him at the moment. So, and we've got Coach also with a 3.5 second, so he must have done exactly the same, and has picked up a little track limit penalty as well. So the two drivers here in 9th and 10th both picking up pit lane infringement penalties.
Well, at least Mercedes doesn't have to worry about Coach flying past him here, as they're both going to have to burn those penalties. As we see Matt currently in the pit at the moment, although when I join him he's coming out of the pits. Pedro coming around the first couple of corners with Katie Dekai about a corner and a bit in front of him. See where Matt comes out. Matt looks like he's going to just come out behind Pedro here in P6. And he's going to get out in front of Fodder as well. So Mercedes, McManley managing to jump Fodder there.
Yeah, that's worked out well for Mac. That has. He's made a big jump there. But again, he's underfueled a lot compared to, because he's gone to the soft tyres. So he'll be doing a short stint here. So he's kept the fuel level as low as he can to make the soft laps a little bit longer. So that's why I think he's come out in front of Fodder.
Midnight's still going round in P1 at the moment. Although that and Sophie as well, both going round as we go join them on to lap 20. Could we see a one stop by these two potentially?
Well, potentially. I mean, I think Midnight definitely, if he goes onto the hard tyres, can definitely do a one stop. He's done half the race on medium, and the fuel's lasted him, so he's definitely going to be able to do that. I'm not sure about Sophie. I'm not sure if a set of mediums on that Renault will last 20 laps, or if she can get another couple of laps out of these hards, but her fuel level's very low. So it might be a bit more difficult for Sophie to pull off the one stop. But Midnight definitely has that option available to him, but as we know, he likes to do something a little bit different. So he could also potentially maybe do double softs.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past him.
No, absolutely not.
Just when we think, yeah, Midnight will go on the hards, nice easy one stop, I bet you he'll do something different just to throw us off.
Absolutely. He'll do something strange.
Yeah, I don't think he likes us predicting his pit stops, so whenever we say something, he'll do the complete opposite. Just be like, nah, I'm not listening to you. But I was just looking on board with Charlie here. Obviously, he hasn't pitted either. He started on the hard tyres. And the hard tyres still looking pretty good, and it looks like he's got a couple more laps in the tank, fuel-wise. Although Pedro is on the back of him at the moment. but I'm sure Charlie's enjoying being a little bit further up on the grid compared to where he was early.
Yeah, Midnight's in the pit, so we're interested to see, like we said, what tyres he goes on to. Sophie following him in as well.
Pedro managing to get past Charlie there. Charlie making a little bit of a mistake there, but I'm sure Pedro will be very thankful to get back past. Pedro's looking in a good position for a podium.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, he had a sort of a good comeback race in the sprint after that incident on the first lap, so he'll be very happy to be battling up at the front here. And a nice P2, he's got a nice gap behind him, so as long as he can keep it on track and keep it going straight. So Midnight has come out on the softs, as we suspected he might do something a little bit different.
Yeah, obviously taking a leaf from Mercedes' book, trying to go for the potentially maybe the fastest lap and a slightly different strategy. Obviously a bit of a risky one, like we said earlier, but maybe thinking that's the fastest way for him to get in or around the podium. Absolutely,
yeah. And obviously some drivers don't particularly like using the hard tyres, so if you don't feel comfortable using them, then if it's easier for you to do a double soft stint, you might as well go that way rather than making it more difficult for yourself by using a set of hard tyres if you don't feel comfortable driving on them.
Yeah, and true. Obviously, the only people we've seen on the hard tyres this race so far has been Charlie and Sophie. See, Sophie was quite high up running earlier on, but it's only really been a tale of Charlie running higher up in this second stint where everyone's coming into the pits. So it's difficult tyre to master the hard tyres, especially around here. But it looks like McManley's got past Charlie here, and Charlie been able to go 22 laps into the race on the set of those tyres and fuel, which is pretty good going, to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's definitely gotten all the life out. I mean, the tyres have still got a little bit of life left in them. The fuel's starting to get a bit low, but you probably get this lap and potentially another lap out of them though before he has to come in and pit. So he'll definitely be doing, I would imagine, the one stop onto the medium tyres to the end. So he's done well to drag that BMW, which is a tricky car to drive, as both of us know. We both used that car in the past and not come away with fond memories of it, I don't think, particularly.
Yeah.
So
yeah, what can we say about that car? Yeah, Charlie's driven it well this season, but I'm glad I wasn't in it because, like you say, it's a difficult car to master. Yeah, I don't think I did very well in it. Saying that, obviously, Charlie throughout the season having some highs and lows. Had a couple. I believe he won a couple, and he's got on the podiums quite a few times. So he's done well. We'll have to see if he goes for that car again, or if he's had enough of the BMW like we have. But Fodder at the moment looks like he's about to chase Charlie down, who's going around for another lap.
yeah, he's gonna get all of the fuel and tyre that he can out of that car on this stint, and give him the best tyres he possibly can for the second part of the race and towards the end, where hopefully his mediums will last him and not wear out too quickly when he struggles a lot at the end. It should be alright, hopefully.
Looks like obviously Midnight, after coming into the pits for the soft tyres, is dropped into P7 at the moment. His nearest car to him on track at the moment looks to be Nigel in the Ferrari. And between these two, I think obviously again Midnight on the soft tyres, he's going to have to pit before the end of the race. I don't know if that's the right choice. I feel like that potentially there's some people on the mediums are going to jump him in the next.
Yeah, it's like I say, it's that difficult call of do you go medium tyres to the end, which he could have done, I think, if he wanted to, or he's just decided he wants to get racy and try and put some quick laps in and do it that way. It's just trying to get that balance of how much time do you gain from using the softs over the mediums to how much time you then lose having to make a pit stop. So, and we know that Midnight likes to do his meticulous maths before every race to work out what strategy he's going to do. So I'm sure he must have worked out doing the double soft can be just as quick, if not quicker, than doing the one stop onto medium. So we'll see how he gets on.
Yeah, I'm glad he does the maths because I'd be useless at that. But, like you say, he always does his homework before these races. So we'll see what he cooks up. At the moment, he's cooking up in P6, and I was wondering if he was getting close to the fastest lap time, obviously set by KD the Kite at the moment, and looks like he's within a second of it. But he's got some work to do if he wants that fastest lap time at the moment. I was just looking, that lap time from KD the Kite, 1:32.3. He's been flying around, and that was set on the medium tyres as well.
Absolutely, yeah. He's been having fun there out front. We've seen him all season up the front of the grid, putting in some incredible lap times. So it's no surprise, he can out-qualify people on softs on medium. So we know he's got extreme raw pace, especially in that GTR that he's just sort of locked in with the last couple of seasons. He's been brilliant. So that lap time doesn't surprise me too much.
Yeah, another classic tale of when KD the Kite gets in front, he stays in front. And I don't think this race is any different. He's enjoying being in that P1 spot at the moment. As we see Midnight potentially going for a move here on Nigel, goes to the outside line. Nigel going very, very much to the inside, nearly on the grass. Was that a Nigel letting Midnight through there?
It definitely looked that way. I think sensible driving, really. Like, it's one of those where he's probably seen how quickly Midnight's been catching him, realises that it's not really a battle that he needs to get involved with. So it's sometimes you lose less time by just letting the driver through and just carrying on with your race and your strategy.
Yeah, some good racing awareness from Nigel there, and potentially maybe he wants Midnight to kind of drag him around the next couple of laps or so. Just having a little look towards the back of the grid. See Sophie coming out in P10 at the moment. Ziggy, after obviously what a sprint race he had. I think the Alpha is definitely built for a bit more sprint racing than endurance racing here. It seems to be a bit more of a struggle driving that car for the feature race at the moment. But still putting in some good work and some good lap times as well.
Yeah, he's got very consistent pace. He's been lapping mostly in the 134s all the time. So that's exactly what he was doing in the sprint race. Just consistent, putting the laps in, not making too many mistakes. So, like I said, not going as well in the feature as it was in the sprint, but I'm sure he's still enjoying his time.
Yeah, and maybe the sprint race victory giving him a little bit of boost going into the feature race as well. He don't care. He's just here to have fun.
Absolutely, he's just enjoying himself, which is what it's all about, really. So he'll be fun mixing it up in the red lobby, and I'm sure next season he'll be desperate to try and get back in for some more races and testing himself against our top drivers here.
Yeah, and it's obviously interesting as well that the next season we'll have to see if drivers stick with the cars that they've driven this season or if they go for a slightly different challenge. Obviously, I think the most of the drivers have gelled with their cars pretty well. So I'd be surprised if we see some drivers pick some different cars. I think we all know that Midnight's going to choose that McLaren again.
I was going to say, I think that's pretty much your. If you want a safe bet and make sure you're not losing any of your money, and we'll bet on Midnight going in a McLaren next season. So that's pretty nailed on.
I reckon it's going to be either red or black, or red and black. I think that's another safe bet that we can put on Midnight there. But everyone else, I don't know, it could be obviously a completely different shake-up for next season. Could have some drivers picking some different cars. Maybe some drivers picking the same, sticking to what they find comfortable. But that's next season. Obviously, that's in the future. And currently, obviously, we're watching the drivers go around. I don't know about you, but it's got sunny the last couple of laps or so. It's got a lot brighter than what it was at the start of the race.
Yeah, and we've missed somewhere. I think Ziggy's had a bit of an incident. He's dropped a lot of lap time. He's got front end damage as well, so he's obviously had a bit of an incident somewhere where he's connected with the barrier at some point.
And someone else with damage as well is Coach picking up front end damage as well. So those two having a little bit of a little bit of a coming together with potentially a wall or a barrier, which is easy to do around here. Unfortunately, obviously, we didn't catch quite what happened, but would that sort of damage be slowing those drivers down around a track like this, or are they pretty safe?
Quite potentially a little bit. I think you're going to lose a little bit. I mean, their lap times is probably be interesting to see what Ziggy's lap times drop to compared to what he was doing. Coach is doing 1:35, so maybe a few tenths a lap you're going to lose there in having that front end damage. So I think it's definitely something that you'll want to get rid of at the next pit stop. That's for sure. You won't want to be running that for the rest of the race for those two.
So one thing's definitely certain, that those two didn't come together because they both got front end damage. So if they've come together and they've both got front end damage, I wanted to see what happened, because that would
absolutely
sound a bit interesting. But that would be one for after the race. But it looks like Mac is definitely using all of that soft tyre on that Ferrari. It's definitely seen some better days, those tyres, especially the right hand side.
Yeah, we could potentially see Mac hugging the left hand side, potentially making his final pit stop here. I imagine he'll go onto a set of mediums, fuel up to the end.
Yes, we see Midnight coming round into that, taking that P4 spot at the moment. Obviously, he's on I'd say similar strategy to McManley, although Midnight might have the slight advantage currently. But we all know that Midnight's going to have to come in the next couple of laps or so to go on another set of softs right to the end. So he will have to keep that pace up and obviously hope that McManley has maybe a little bit of a difficult outlap, so he gets a little bit of an advantage there. But it's good to see those two battling, and obviously Mac missing out on the sprint race earlier, so he's had a little bit less lap kind of practice compared to Midnight. I think that's a good testament to Mac's driving skills, that sometimes you can just jump in with a little bit less track time and still put in some good lap times and some good battles.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's got good raw pace, as Mac raced him a good few times, and a very quick driver, so he's more than capable of just jumping in and just pumping those good consistent laps in. So he's medium tyres and fueled up to the end. So let's see where he's positioned once everyone else has made their next stops.
Just jumped on board with Katie the Kai, who was correcting a bit of a slide there, which looked pretty interesting. And again, just goes to show that Katie the Kai still pushing it, even though he doesn't have to, because he's very much in the lead. But yeah, obviously managing to catch that GTR through that downhill section, which is pretty hard to do. But Pedro enjoying his P2 at the moment. He's put himself in a good position. And Fodder in P3. Midnight has got a little bit of breathing room at the moment, where Mac has had to come into the pits. And we've got 10 laps left to go. Anyone, obviously apart from Katie Dekai, because it's pretty obvious, but anyone that you think can potentially sneak a podium here, or do you reckon it's pretty kind of sewn up and done and dusted between Pedro and Fodder?
It looks like, I think maybe Midnight's probably a little bit far behind, having to make another stop, and I think the guys in front probably going to be able to get another couple of laps here, so they'll probably be able to put on a set of soft tyres themselves and get to the end. So I think without any big mistakes from any of the top three here, it definitely looks like that podium's places are kind of nailed on for those three guys at the moment, depending on obviously where they come out in relation to Mac. But yeah, otherwise we'll just see how Sophie is getting on with I presume is a one-stop strategy, so she's still going along nicely in P8.
Yeah, I think she's done pretty well. Obviously, limited track time in that Renault to jump in and to do a one-stop. Obviously, some people find a one-stop difficult to do in the cars that have had loads of track time with. So, again, testament to her driving skill and managing to look after those tyres in a car that she's not, 100% familiar with. And
Yeah, we've
we'll
got
see if
Midnight
she
and Nigel both in the pits for their last stops.
It's good to see Nigel obviously pretty much still in with the fight here between the mid-pack. Looks like he's just about to come out behind, I believe that's Ziggy coming around the second corner there in that the Alpha. Oh, Nigel nearly hitting the
bit
wall.
of a wobble.
Yeah, that looks interesting.
Yes.
Not what you want with only 9 laps left to go. Anyone surprised you during this race?
I think potentially. I think it's a bit of a surprise to see Charlie struggle so much near the back of the grid. I thought starting on the hards, if he could have got sort of good pace with those, he took them a long way till he changed. But I think just didn't quite have the pace on the hard tyres to sort of bring that strategy into play. So obviously be interested to see what happens with Mercedes on his strategy, because he's going to have to pit again, so that's going to potentially drop him down a couple of places. He's going to have to try and fight back through at the end of the race. So, but a really good drive from Pedro for me at the moment, up in P2. He's been very consistent. That Lamborghini does become a handful the last couple of laps when the tyres start to wear down. You can see he struggles with the rear end of that Lamborghini, but to keep that in P2, it's been a very, very good drive from Pedro.
Like you say, obviously, just watching on board with Pedro now, do you think he can take them 8 laps, or will he have to come into the pits as well?
I think he'll definitely have to come in again. I think with the fuel and the tyres, he won't get those tyres another 8 laps, so he'll be in. Kai's just been pitted in, so he'll be in. I'd imagine set of soft tyres on that Lamborghini. We'll get him to the end.
Yeah, as we see Kaden Dekai, our race leader.
Same for Fodder as well behind him. I think he'll be in a couple of laps time, probably for a set of softs for a quick sprint to the end.
Yeah, as we see Mercedes also coming in, Kaden Dekai coming in. Okay, the guy going on the soft tyres, so I guess let's watch him obliterate his own fastest lap time in a second.
Yes, absolutely. I was just about to say we'll see that fastest lap time tumble considerably, I'd imagine, the next couple of laps. With all these guys at the front going onto soft tyres.
It seems like we've got a little bit of a group forming between Coach, Sophie and Mac here, or after their last pit stops, getting a little bit closer to each other. Although Coach obviously still carrying that damage, he's at a little bit of a disadvantage at the moment compared to the two behind him. But we all know Coach being the master of defence, so I don't think he's going to make it easy for the recent pitters of Sophie and Mac to get past him.
No, absolutely not. So, but I think, again, Coach is probably going to be another one who's going to have to pit again. So that will release Sophie and Mac in the next couple of laps. So, but it'll be interesting to see if Midnight can claw his way onto the back of these two on those fresh soft tyres. He's not too far behind, just a few seconds behind, but obviously he'll be lapping much quicker than the two in front of him. So that's one to keep an eye on for the last 6 or 7 laps of this race.
You've got a little bit of a battle between Nigel and Sidley heating up as well for P10, as we see Coach coming in, which has released Mac and Sophie, who are already going at it into turn 1, going side by side here. Mac to the inside, Sophie on the outside, still side by side coming out of the corner. Those two are quite matched, and Sophie just being able to stay in front for now. We'll see who breaks a little bit later here. Sophie able to break just that little bit later, keeping that Renault on the apex, making Mac's job a little bit harder to pass her. And saying that, I thought Mac was going to potentially eye up a move there, but stays behind for now. Could we see Mac try and force the door open here? He looks for the gap, thinks better of it, but can now go side by side into this extended hairpin. Oh, Sophie doing the switchback, manages to get that switchback done and dusted. Good racing by Sophie there, although Mac is not quite finished yet. He's put the power down on that Ferrari, and that Ferrari kind of just sailed past going on the inside there.
Yeah, nice move from Mac there. So he'll now be trying to get away from Sophie, who will be having to manage those tyres a little bit to the end of the race, which that little bit of battling for half a lap there has brought Midnight a bit closer.
Yeah, Midnight's got 5 laps left to try and catch these two in front of him, and if these two in front keep fighting, that might make his job a little bit easier, but he's definitely got a challenge on his hands. Mac going to the inside of the track, trying to break that slipstream, although Sophie doesn't fall for it, she keeps on her line. I think this is a battle we're going to see kind of go right to the wire between these two here for that P4 position. Mercedes, obviously, after that, well, technically he's pitted once more than everyone else in that P7. He's struggling at the moment to catch Midnight. Looks like Ziggy's got past Sidley, although Sidley is coming back at Ziggy here. Storming through into that P10 position. Into turn 2. 2 cars not quite finished just yet. Oh, sorry, P11. Nigel's is currently in P10, a few corners ahead. It looks like Ziggy diving up to the inside there. So that Lexus around here hasn't been the easiest of cars to handle. But for the most majority, Sicily keeping it on track, doing his best.
And also up front, we have seen that Kai has obliterated that fastest lap with a 1:31.3. So, as we suspected, absolutely smashing the lap times here up in P1.
Yeah, I think he's just doing it for fun at this point. He's like, yeah, I just want to round off the season with, you know, a few fastest lap points under my belt. Not like he needs them or anything.
No, but I think being relaxed, like you said, knowing that he's a champion coming into this race, no pressure, you can just relax into the race and enjoy it. And he's definitely enjoying it. And P1 is he just sets another fastest lap.
Oh, we've had some information from the pit wall that Mac, in that last lap, has spun, and yeah, he's dropped to P6. So he's allowed Midnight to come through, and Midnight looks like he's on the charge for Sophie here as well.
Yeah, didn't quite catch what happened there with Mac there, but yeah, like said, he's dropped it somewhere, and that's dropped him back to P6. So Midnight's got 4 laps now to catch this gap up to Sophie and try and make the pass to get into P4.
I think it's definitely doable. It looks like Midnight's still got plenty of life left in those soft tyres. And I believe Sicily and Ziggy are getting shown the blue flag for... I think that is Kady Dekai. He's looking to try and lap the drivers in front of him who are currently battling for that P11 spot. Someone that's not had luck on their side today is Iceman in that Genesis. Again, a car that doesn't look like it's at home around here as such, but it's good to see, obviously, even the cars that aren't suited best to this track, like obviously the Genesis and the BMW, the drivers, you know, taking it all the way to the end and not giving up, putting some valuable track time under their belts.
Yeah, definitely gives you more of a feel for the car, and like I said, this is the last race, is whether you want to take that car into next season. So it's worth sticking it out, even if not having the best of races, and I feel a little bit disappointed in how it's gone. It's good, like I said, just to get that track time in and get that sort of bit of information for yourself, really, going into next season.
Yeah, and I think it's that thing that's so easy just to pull into the pits, retire the car and go, yeah, I'm done. But it's like you say, it's good to see them keep going and get that valuable track time. And like you say, could sway their position, their decisions to stick with their cars or choose something slightly different. Because obviously be some different tracks next season. So I think it's good to test the cars out, all different sort of tracks. But now they know how their cars handle around a track like this. As you see, Midnight has now tucked up very close behind the back of that Renault. So within the last lap or so, he's been able to get those softs working and to potentially go for a move here. Although I believe he's going to stick behind Sophie, try and force Sophie into a bit of a mistake there. Actually dips a wheel into the grass. But it's a good recovery from Midnight here. Obviously having to pit for the soft tyres, it put him slightly further back than probably what he wanted to be. But I think obviously he can't shrug off a P4 after working hard for it. And it's good, obviously valuable points for the championship. Which, I'm not good at maths, everyone knows I'm not good at maths, so I don't know where this puts him in that championship battle. But someone can do that after the race.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether he thinks afterwards maybe he should have gone on to the one stop, whether that might have got him a bit closer to Fodder and Pedro potentially, but he's made that move nicely into turn 1 up into P4.
Was that a little bit of a... Saw the hazards pop up for like a second. Maybe that was very quick. Thank you for Sophie. Obviously saying that they enjoyed that battle, but thanks for letting me through. Oh, saying that though, he dipped the rear of that car into the grass there, flicking up a little bit of dirt to Sophie. Having a little bit of a wiggle there down the little bit of a straight as well.
Yeah, he doesn't want to do anything too drastic now and potentially throw that position away, so just needs to keep it steady on the track and get the car to the finish now, coming up to the last lap of the race.
Yeah, saying that, it's can't believe we're already going on to the last lap of the last race of the season. Obviously, I think the season's gone pretty quick, but also sometimes obviously can't come quick enough. And I think Katie Kai, obviously, what a performance he's put in throughout the championship. He kind of sealed it up quite early. But like you say, sometimes that's what people need to do. They need to take the pressure off them, seal the championship up, and then they can just simply go out and racing and enjoy it. And sometimes that's when you see the best out of people, like Katie Kai going for numerous fastest laps after fastest laps, which is currently sat at 1:31.2, which is blisteringly fast. Looks like Sophie's tyres have fallen off of a cliff. Best way to put it.
Absolutely, yeah. She's going to be under a lot of pressure here from Mac. And even potentially Mercedes, just see creeping up in the background. So this little battle is going to go right to the end.
Yeah, while you keep an eye on that, I'm just going to join Katie Kai, who's just about to cross the finish line for the last race of Season 5. Our Season 5 champion, Katie Kai, winning the feature race. Pedro, after what a race from him, finishing in P2. Best way to end the season, in my opinion. And then Fodder as well, coming home, sealing off that podium with a P3 finish. Midnight looks like he secured that P4.
Yeah, and we've seen that Mac did get past Sophie, but it was quite a robust move. I don't know, again, that might be one that the stewards have a look at the end of the race, potentially. But we will see. And Mercedes has also made his way past Sophie as well. So, unfortunately, those tyres for Sophie just given out on the last lap, just not giving her the grip she needed to keep that P5.
Yeah, like I say, sometimes that's the risk you take with a one stop. That right at the end, when you need those tyres, they're not there for you.
Yes, that was a little suspicion. We did say in the when she was making her pit stop that it was going to be a little bit of a struggle, and those tyres probably wouldn't be the best coming towards the end, and that's what happened, unfortunately, for her.
If you want to run down the start of the grid for me, as we watch, I think Nigel coming around the final couple of corners.
So yeah, we got Kai, inevitably, as it has been most of the season, finishing on the top step of the podium. Very good drive there from Kai, taking the fastest lap of the race as well. We've got Pedro in P2 in that Lamborghini. Great drive from Pedro to get that into P2. I think he started P4 on the grid, so brilliant drive from Pedro there. Fodder finishing in P3, last step of the podium. He'll be happy with that, I'm sure, and probably securing P2 in the championship for himself. Midnight, who will probably be thinking, could he have done the one stop? Maybe it would have got him closer to P2 and P3, but I'm sure he'll be very happy taking P4. And Mac in P5, jumping in, started last, so brilliant to get himself up to P5. Could have been, or should have been, probably a P4, but unfortunately made a mistake right near the end of the race there that dropped him down. So Mercedes, who we saw taking the very aggressive, I think, 3-stop strategy, was the only one who stopped 3 times, I think. Finishing in P6. Sophie, who did the 1-stop, the only person to do a 1-stop strategy, just those medium tyres giving out the last couple of laps, which dropped her down from P5 to P7. and Charlie in P8 in that BMW. Struggled a bit at the start on those hard tyres, and will be a little bit disappointed, I'm sure, to finish P8, but nice little drive at the end to get himself up a couple of positions from where he was. Coach in P9, and as always, had lots of battles with people, was defending his positions very well, and he'll be quite happy, I'm sure, to bring up some good points there. Nigel in P10 in the Ferrari. Again, another one of those who had a very up and down race, was quite sort of up in the high mid tier of the sort of start of the race, just sort of faded off and really made a couple of mistakes, unfortunately. Ziggy, who was our sprint race winner, down in P11. I'm sure he'll be more than happy with that in that 4C. Like I said, it's probably more of a sprint race car than it is a long distance one. So, and we've got Sitterly in P12 in the Lexus, who had quite a quiet race really, but I'm sure he enjoyed himself. And Iceman in that Genesis, rounding off the grid in P13.
Yeah, thank you very much for doing that. And yeah, like you say, obviously with a few people there, maybe finishing slightly out of positions, but I'm sure they enjoyed it. And a little birdie told me that Mac did get a 2-second penalty, but that doesn't change his position on track. Potentially for that move that you spotted there with Sophie, maybe forcing the door open again. But very lucky enough that it didn't affect his finishing order. He still remains in that P5 position. But I suppose that kind of leads us perfectly on to driver of the day. Who would your pick be as of right now?
Well, obviously a couple of honourable sort of mentions. I think obviously for Kai for the win there, dominant win in the feature race, and obviously already our champion, but just another victory for him. Sophie as well, trying the one stop, was quite unlucky just for the tyres, just to dip off on those last couple of laps, but a great effort from her there to especially in that Renault. But if it's okay, I think I'm going to have a dual driver of the day, or drivers of the day, which is both of our Portuguese drivers in Pedro and Ziggy. So Ziggy obviously for his Red Lobby debut, getting the sprint race victory, and Pedro also brilliant drive in the feature race to take P2, and a good recovery drive in the sprint race after that incident on the first lap to bring himself back up in the pack. So I think for me, yes, both of our Portuguese drivers are our drivers of the day.
Yeah, and I definitely I can agree with that. I think yeah, I'm going to go with the two Portuguese drivers as well. We sounded like we're honorary Portuguese people now. But yeah, obviously, like you say, Pedro getting that P2, I think he'll be very happy with how he finished the season. Been a very up and down season for him, getting a few podiums here and there, having a few battles. And like you say, obviously, we've got to give it to Ziggy for that sprint race victory. Obviously, we're proud of him. We know that he could do it, and I'm sure, you know, he just had to prove to himself that he could do it as well. So very, very happy for Ziggy getting that little Alpha 4C C4, as he likes to call it, on the podium. I'm sure, I don't know if we'll see him in that car again next season or not. I'll be intrigued as to if he picks that again. But honourable mentions as well. I think Midnight did a good job finishing, obviously, P3 on the road, but P2 after some stringent decisions in the sprint race, and then P4 in the feature race with that unique strategy of his. And I believe that the maths has, unfortunately, he loses that P2 in the championship just by a little bit. And Midnight's going to hate me for bringing it up, but that means for 3 seasons in a row, he's finished in P3. So I think one aim for him for next season is to finish in that P2 spot. But apart from that, I think everyone else did a pretty good job. And I think what a way to kind of round off the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a great race. The sprint race was full of action all the way through. And the feature race, a little bit more sort of as we expect it. It sort of starts off quite sort of chaotic for the first couple of laps, and everyone settles in to their strategy and stuff. But yeah, it was a good race and nice end to the season for everybody. And I'm sure everybody is now looking forward to next season, which cars, which tracks we're going to have, and who's going to be joining. We're going to get new drivers on the grid as well. So very much looking forward to the next season starting.
Yeah, and now we go into that point where we do a bit of pre-season testing. Everyone picks their cars, and we'll then obviously be back with some new tracks, new cars, new drivers potentially. But thank you very much, Louis, for joining me in the comms box again. I'll have to do it again next season, but I've enjoyed sharing the comms box with you a few times, and look forward to the new season.
Yes, it's been a pleasure. Yes, first season of doing commentary, so I hope it hasn't been too bad for you and for everybody else. But yes, learning from our sort of commentator pro that you are, our number one commentator. It's been fun this season, so I've enjoyed it, and yeah, hopefully you'll have me back for a few races next season as well, because it's been fun, and it's good to watch the races that I wasn't able to drive in myself, unfortunately. So to catch up on them and see everyone else racing has been really good fun. So yeah, really enjoyed myself.
Yeah, good to hear, and it's always good to hear your championship, insight as well, being one of our champions as well. So let's see if you can, get back on that championship P1 spot next season.
I shall give it my best go. So I should be in for majority of the races, or most of them, hopefully next season. So I'm definitely gonna give it my best shot to see if I can get my crown back, as they say.
Well, you heard it here first, guys. The Dark Lord is back, and he wants that P1 position back. So watch yourself when you're out on track. But I think for now we'll end it there, and we'll see obviously how the Blue Lobby feature race went on, and then hopefully you'll see us back for season 6.
Absolutely, it's been a pleasure. See you again soon.
See you later.
Got away early, but knew others would catch at some point. Got a bit of luck with a collision behind me. Overall, I'm just happy to be back at racing again, and given how long I haven't been racing or practicing second place is just a bonus.
And here we are, Interlagos, Brazil. Whoa, Red Lobby. Who would ever say that I would be in Red Lobby for the final round of the season and winning the sprint race? This makes me laugh. I mean, isn't this hilarious? I gotta say, I had so much luck with all the boys fighting behind. Starting P2, it's a great advantage for this track that I really love, and I really enjoy driving at it. I really know this circuit, so it was a good advantage for me in terms of, holding everybody back, which was not necessary because the guys were all fighting, and I've managed to gain some gap for P2 for the last 3 or 4 laps that I could manage to keep it in first, which is, I'm really thrilling about this result on the Red Lobby and the win. First race on the Red Lobby. Watch out, guys, for next season. Regarding the feature race, well, it's a normal Ziggy race. lot of mistakes. The car is not that good. I can't excuse myself with the car because there were a lot of mistakes, driving errors, stupid driving errors. But in the end, I'm quite happy with the season in a whole. A big shout out to everyone involved, the NHR drivers, all of them, even the ones that could not be a part of this season. The admin team, which is, it's the best people with who I would love to always help and work and collaborate. To everyone, this is amazing. I'm really deeply involved and in love with this NHR championship, and I will see you next season. Bye bye.
So where should we start? I mean, the start didn't really go like planned because we got hit 2 times by Sparky, which putted us towards the back. We had to make up lots of ground. during the first few laps. We had to drive with our elbows out, and sadly we got an incident with that, but after all, we have to live with that and hope the penalty wouldn't be too big. So, at the end of the race, we basically had good lap times, and we got even though with the penalties an impressive 0.090 seconds in front of Sparky, which gave us P3 in our second podium. And we will see what qualifying brings us for the last race. Podium at the sprint, then getting pole position to start on the front row with Phil for the last race. It couldn't be better. The start. Well, we knew Phil was fast, but I kept second position till the first pit stop. I drove away with Phil after some people behind us crashed, so we got a good lead throughout our first stint. Pit stop strategy went as planned. Going towards the end of the race, we had a good fight with Sparky for the second place, but sadly trough all that fighting, Sarah came into the fight. Thanks to that, we got tough as well to secure third on the end. Now standing here on the final podium with Phil and Sarah is an honor, especially because me and Sarah both basically started our journey at Sabre Racing Family, also known as SRF. I just want to thank everyone who supported me through this heavy comeback season. From my fans out there all the way to the people who cared about my mental issues, and for sure my race engineer Beldhor, who helped me a lot trough this season with strategy and practice. Next season we will be even more prepared and be back stronger and faster.
Okay, so that was round 10 and the season finale at Interlagos. And I don't think you can really pick a better track to finish off a season, can you? Well, starting with qualifying, I was quite shocked to see that I was able to fight for pole position today, even if the final standing doesn't really represent that. And I just kept making silly mistakes in a few of the laps when, I was finishing the lap. Mostly I just kept making mistakes, and all these situations just ended up being quite costly. And especially in my final 2 runs, I was actually going purple on my penultimate lap until the very few last corners. But yeah, just made a mistake and lost lots of time. And then even in my final run, I made a huge mistake into sector 1. Did manage to get a lot of time back on the remainder of the lap, which helped me salvage something out of qualifying. Otherwise, it would have been a pretty dismal performance. But yeah, moving on to the sprint. I think for once I actually had a lot of circumstances favoring me in the beginning of the race, which allowed me to go through the pack quite easily in a way. But then I just found myself in that position where, again, I struggled to overtake people at crucial moments of the race. And yeah, that probably cost me the chance of fighting for a podium. But yeah, still, how can you not be happy at the fact that Ziggy got his first win in Red Lobby in the sprint race? Like, not even himself could believe it. We were all super happy for him. He really deserved this win. Yeah, he just fought to keep that position from beginning to end. It was basically a flawless race from him. And yeah, we all know how good Ziggy is when he's in form. So hopefully this motivates him to keep going and get more of these results in the future. Yeah, it's going on to the feature. I think this was one of the best feature races I've done in a while. I think I've managed everything as I should have, and the fact that I was fighting for those top positions on pace and pure merit feels incredible. It's always good to be able to fight against the fastest drivers in the league. As it gives you that extra bit of motivation, and yeah, just felt incredible to do that. I mean, couldn't really have asked for much more than that. Kai was always going to be a bit out of reach. He's a fantastic driver, and he's always going to be in contention for the win at the very least across the majority of the tracks. So to finish second behind him is nothing to be ashamed of. And yeah, pretty good way to finish the season as well, which guaranteed me a top 5 finish in the championship once again. This is always the goal that I try to set for myself, and especially considering the fact that I missed a lot of the races this season, mostly, well, from very different reasons. I've always tried to make at least one of the races in a few events and whatnot, but yeah, just considering all of the features and sprints that I've missed, and especially qualifying as well in a few events that I did actually make it, probably cost me the chance of a few better results. So I have to be really happy with this. Yeah, hopefully everyone is as excited for next season as we are. We should hopefully have many reasons to look forward to next season. And yeah, sending lots of love to everyone, and we'll see each other soon.
What can I say other than... What can I say other than Season 5 finale? That was interesting. For the sprint race, for me, was the highlight, finishing P2 in the end with the stewarding after the fact. But what can I say? It was a pleasure to race everyone today, and it was a great battle of fodder on the lap times. As in the last couple of laps, it was getting close, but I couldn't quite catch him on track. But all credit to Ziggy for the sprint race. And thank you to all the drivers this season for such an amazing season. Looking forward to Season 6.
Engines roar, neon light glow. Racing through the night we go. Defend position, don't you slow. Turbo speed, we steal the show. Nighthawk racing, feel the burn. Around each turn, victories earned. Passing rivals, nothing's assumed. On the track we are consumed. Adrenaline rush, heartbeats race. The thrill of speed taking place. Defend the lead, it's not a chase. Gran Turismo sets a pace. Under moonlit skies we soar. Every pass makes spirits roar. Defending honor, never bored. Speeding kings on asphalt floors. Through the stadiums we fly by. Cheering crowds lighting the sky. Nighthawk warriors reaching high. No defeat will dignify. Nighthawk racing, feel the burn. Around each turn, victories earned. Passing rivals, nothing's assumed. On the track we are consumed.
bye.